Hello, my Teaserking family. Okay, I got voice now. I didn't check it. I'm so tired. Anyway, back from Europe. Left at. I got up 4 in the morning Europe time, which is like 10 o'clock last night for a 7 a.m. flight, and an hour from Berlin to Frankfurt, and then 10 hours from 9 hours Frankfurt back. You leave at 11, you get here at 2:15. It's funny as hell. Highly recommend Uber in Europe. At least it's cheaper. At least you know what you're paying. You don't have to worry about the taxi driver driving you in circles and running up the bill. And the Uber guys are pretty quick because they want to get to the next fare, so they are pretty good. So it was like 4:30 in the morning. I went to the airport, and the guy was waiting for me. So that was good. That's the thing you worry about with Uber. It's 4 in the morning. Is anybody going to be working? So you can reserve an Uber the night before, which is what I did. Anyway, I was okay. I went to Berlin. Nothing. I had no desire really. I just went to meet Jenna, and it was no desire because what am I going to look at? Hitler's bunker, or here's where Hitler escaped to go to Argentina, or I mean, it's so stupid. Hey, Greg and John. So I really just went for her, and I saved a lot of money. It was a cheap flight, $650. It was spur of the moment, which I hate. I like to plan. Jenna says, "Oh, I'm going to Berlin. You want to join me?" And I said, "Well, it depends what the flight is." In the summer, it was $2,000. The next few days, you had to go out like 2-3 weeks, and it was still like $1,300. This was $650 on Saturday for Monday, and I said, "Well, I can't pass that up." So anyway, I thought the food was very bad there. No chicken. It was like you got some meat. The burgers, they put the sauce on it that just, I think it's on the bun. I don't know. Well, it smells terrible. So you wipe that all out, and I don't know. Not my cup of tea, that's for sure. But I have no fond memories of Berlin like I do if I go to Barcelona or Italy or something. At least you want to see the history, but not there. All right. Anyway, they're all about to get fucked. They don't understand it. A few people I did talk to about gold, like the guy at breakfast or the hotel clerk. Here's an example of me teaching them economics. They give us a little bit, those little coffees for the machine. You put it in, you crank it down, and out for your room. And we run out. You'll give us more coffee. Well, it's going to be $1 a piece. $1 a piece for coffee? What, are you kidding me? That's how it is in Berlin. I go, why would it be $1 a piece in Berlin? Sorry for my ear. I slept on the plane. Well, that's what they charge. Well, his $700 million contract is worthless. He'll get the money. It'll be worth zero, and he'll get zero for it. And I can't believe the Dodgers are that stupid to pay the guy. Why do you think nobody else plays two positions like that? Believe me, the pitchers are the best athletes on the team. It's by far the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And how many California never made the playoffs with the guy? Anyway, well, Tony Smart would ask for $700 million in gold. These 10-year contracts never work out for the team. If somebody was giving me $70 million a year, what would be my and it's a contract, what would be my incentive? If you gave me $70 million now, I'm on a beach somewhere. I could care less. I would teach the class because I love this, and I'd do the football, but I wouldn't look for a job. As soon as gold takes off, I'm not looking for a job. So I'm talking some of Jenna's friends. We start talking about gold. So the first girl says, I don't have any money. I can't buy it. I says, well, if I were you, I'd buy silver. So she gets this break on, they pay her 1,000 euros a month to live on. And I guess she's got free rent because she's a refugee from Ukraine. She's also Ukrainian. That's why Jenna knows her. Her friends from Ukraine moved out, got this sweetheart deal in Berlin. And, here's 1,000 euros a month and no rent to worry about. So it's just really food and whatever. And she said, I don't have money for gold. And, well, so that got me thinking, what do poor people do? They know they want to buy gold, or they know they should buy gold. But what do? They really can't, but they want to. And that was a perplexing question for me because what do I teach? Get out of money, go into gold. But that's more for people with money. And I really didn't intend it to be like that. It's for anybody. And it could be your 10-year-old kid, buy gold and silver. So that got me thinking. And but then the more people I talked to, the people at the hotel or the cab driver or the Uber drivers, and that's one thing you should do when you're in Europe. Do put Uber on the phone. It's much cheaper and you know what you pay, and then you just pay for it. And you don't have to fuck around, is the guy honest? Is he, did he run his bill up? I'm coming into a taxi and it's already at $10. That's the beauty of Uber. It's already there. It's 9 euros. Okay, I'll take it. You get out and you paid for it. Anyway, so talking to people like that, the best teaching I do is the Titanic. They understand that. And how gold can't be printed. So the two biggest lessons I come out with is they print the dollar to death, but they can't print gold. And we're at the Titanic. We've hit the iceberg. We get off the ship now with our gold and silver. And then the ship we know is going to sink. And we know the dollar and all these currencies are going to sink. And everybody will run to gold at that point. So again, it's Comac's keeping it down. As I told you, I think on Friday, I listened to Mark McGuire. It's like they're clueless. Well, if everybody buys a thing, the price will go up. No, it won't. The whole world could buy a ton of gold and the price wouldn't go up because it's still fixed by JP Morgan. And if you really dig deep and think about it, who wants the price low? People who are buying it. The other one could be they don't want the competition with the dollar. Okay, I agree with that to a point. Right? They don't want them to keep in the dollar and think gold's worthless. So they keep the price of gold down. Okay. I think that's part of the reason. I think the rest is keeping the price down for the people who want to buy it. Oh, good, I can get it for $2,000 an ounce instead of the $20,000 it should be at. Anyway, so Europe, they're all fucked and they don't know it. And I saw so many Mercedes there. Now, I know Mercedes, I worked there, is in Stuttgart, not in Berlin, but I'd say 9 out of 10 cars that drove were Mercedes. Now, the other kicker was a lot of people were on the bus too that couldn't afford a car. But I think you have a very rich class in Berlin and a very poor class. And if you want to give handouts to refugees from the Ukraine, who pays for that? The people working in Berlin pay for it. So everything free comes with the price. All right. So that was it. I check on Saturday. I could get a flight for $650 to go to Berlin, so I took it. That's why I was there. But I really didn't want being stoic to expose, I'm not going to be home for a week. Now, most of you don't know where I live. I mean, I live in Detroit. Big deal. You couldn't find me if you wanted to. But just wanted to keep it on the low down. Anyway, let's look at football. We can get back into economics a little bit. So we start the week. New England Pitt. I got 13-10 New England. They win 21-18. I bet the under 37, I believe. And it gets down to the end, and if Pitt scores with Trubisky, they go for two. If they miss the two, it's 31-16. It's a 21-16 is a 37. It's a push instead of a loss because they hit the two-pointer. But there was, I think there was one or two pick sixes or interceptions. I noticed that's on the over, like this, the Tampa, Atlanta, and the Cleveland, Jacksonville game. They're the turnovers that get you the over. So it's not like the quarterbacks are good. They're just getting a lot of bad play. So Tampa, Atlanta, I got Atlanta 20-17. Tampa wins 29-25 with 30 seconds left to screw my under there. I'm under 47.5. It's 25-22 Atlanta, 47, 30 seconds left. Tampa scores, wins the game 29-25, and there goes my under, which is ironic because I actually thought Tampa and the points were good, but that's where, do I like the Tampa or do I like the total? And I go, well, they're both under teams with good defenses, 21 and a 20. I'm not expecting that many points. And especially with Riddler, they scored 25 with Riddler. Yeah, I gave the Vikings out as the under. It was a great game as far as I was concerned. They stayed under 3-0, and we have the game under. I wouldn't be bitching about it. I'd be to win. We don't care what the game looks like. All right, next game was my first lock. I had 4 locks last week, and I hit all 4. I was 4-0. I was really happy. Detroit, Chicago. I loved it from the first. It was 40, and I go, I have the game over. Detroit's an over team, good offense, no defense. Chicago's an over team, good offense, no defense. I'm thinking this game will be 37-34 Detroit. Then I see the number drop down to 40. I checked the weather, and that's when I told you, it's 20-mile-an-hour winds, which turned into 15-mile-an-hour winds, which turned into 10-mile-an-hour winds, which, as you know, has no bearing on it. Chicago wins 28-13-41. I am 40. I'm over 34, 35. I loved it. So I had them locked, and easy win there. I saw the box score, and it was over, I think, early in the fourth quarter. Chicago scored a touchdown and made it like 25-13, which was 38, and I just needed 35. So Detroit's falling apart, but really this is really Detroit against a good team. They have no defense, which I've told you about. They're really an over team, but now they're not scoring, so now they're not even the Bears have a defense. So a lot of it is injuries. Guys get injured, the team doesn't look right. Injuries come back, like Denver. Denver gave up 70 to Miami. Since then, I don't think they've given up more than 20. And I told you they're going to win that division, and they're now a game out, ready to roll. So, again, Detroit, Chicago, 37-34 is my pick, 28-13. So I'm picking a 70-point game, and the over-under is 40, and teasing it down to 34, so I loved it. Anyway, so we win that. Indy, Cincinnati. I have Indy -3. I'm really not sure why the line moved. Was this game fixed? Does anybody think? Cincinnati goes from a 1.5 point dog to a 3-point favorite. No news. There's nothing. We knew Taylor was out. Minshew against Browning. At what point do we think that Cincinnati, okay, the weather, it was 20 miles an hour. It went down to like 10. I see that the temperatures rose on Sunday. I couldn't figure it out. And then Cincinnati wins 34-14. I take Indy plus the points. I think they're going to win 21-17. They're a good team that now, since it was all interceptions, there was 3 or 4 turnovers by Minshew. Browning threw for 275 yards, but not 34 points worth. Indy is an over team, so that game should have been bet over, which is a 34-14, a 58, a 48. The over-under was 44, so 38 is all you needed. I took Indy because I didn't understand the line going on Cincinnati with Browning. I thought it was Joe Burrow playing. I mean, am I missing something? Next game, Jacksonville, Cleveland. Cleveland 2.5. Started Jacksonville 3. Lawrence is questionable. I don't see Joe Flacco playing. Thompson Robinson's playing. He's questionable. And what happens? Lawrence does play. I was expecting him not to play because I saw the injury. Flacco comes out of nowhere to play, and then he has a big game. I have it 17-14 Cleveland. It's 31-27 Cleveland. So I had the spread right where Cleveland's going to win by a field goal, basically. And Cleveland was 2.5. But I didn't know Lawrence was playing. The way the injury happened and the way he threw his helmet off is not, I'm not playing. So I'm not buying Lawrence is really injured or that hurt if he plays the whole game. What are you kidding me? So Cleveland wins 30. I have it under 40, and I'm getting killed 31-27. A lot of 4 turnovers in the game that led to easy touchdowns. So I'm starting off really wonderful. I lose the Pitt under, I lose the Atlanta under, and I lose Indy, and I lose Cleveland. So I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Now, keep in mind, I played Indy with I might have played them with New Orleans. Very small. Okay, it was not a big bet. It was like 11 unit. Everything's now 17. So I lose Atlanta with Pitt starting the week. Again, a very small play. I come back Atlanta, Cleveland. So whoever I put with Atlanta, it screwed them up. So I lose Atlanta, Cleveland teaser. I lost the Pitt teaser, and I lose the Indy, New Orleans teaser. So I'm like, what the fuck's going on? But these are all small bets. This is why we have small and big bets and locks, and that's why you take advantage when I give you a lock and you bet more on it. That's why I sell the locks separately. You want to just unload, then do it on the best play. So we hit the first lock, Detroit. We lose the small Cleveland, Atlanta under. We've lost the Pitt under, and we lose Indy very, very small. I didn't love Indy. All of a sudden, Browning's a quarterback? Really? Okay. Now we get to New Orleans, Carolina, and I go, okay, if Olave and Carr play, I'm going to bet it, but if they don't, I'm not. And I got to wait. Finally, I see that Carr's playing, Olave's playing. I go, I'm really wanting to bet against the Z team, Carolina. They're a terrible team. Georgia would beat them by 3 touchdowns. All right, so I get New Orleans under, which I can't believe that line. I got them winning 31-3 with Carr and with Olave. They win 28-6, same thing. Didn't fuck with the over-under. I just said New Orleans at home is going to beat this shitty Carolina team. What a terrible team. And they blame the coach. I'd be blaming the general manager, basically. So now I start. I got New Orleans. Houston and the Jets. I like the under, but I don't play it. Stroud, I guess, gets injured in it because I see Zach Wilson now playing. Where did he go? Oh, Boyle's gone. He's off the team. Okay, he sucks. well, that's unfair to give him a game, but what are you giving him a game for? Didn't you see him for Detroit last year? He sucked. At what point do you think he doesn't suck? And certainly, Zach Wilson is 100 times better than Boyle. I think it's the offensive coordinator. So I don't play the game. I had Houston winning 24-17. Where this 30-6 came from, I'm sure a lot of turnovers. So again, I circled the under, which was 32. So I would have went under 38. I would have won, but didn't want to play it. We get to LA and Baltimore. After doing this is beautiful how I figured this game out. I see Baltimore scores like 30 points every game. And the Rams are not, well, they played Seattle 17-16. They played the Niners 30-23. But with Stafford, they're going to score. So I go 34-20 Baltimore. They win 37-31. And I make a big bet on the over, which was 39.5 or 40 over 34. And I says Baltimore's going to get close to 30 by themselves, and they actually got the over for me with 37. Now, Lamar was questionable with the virus or whatever the hell he had, but he played. The wind died down to 10 miles an hour. See, a lot of it was based on the wind being 20 miles an hour, and they lowered the unders, but they never raised them back up. This started at 44, went down to 40, went down to 39.5. The wind dies, and it's still 39.5, and it was 60 degrees, and then Lamar came in. So I love this one. I was going to lock it, but I already had 4. I played it really strong. And this one hits 37-31. So I was pretty close on the game. 34-20, a 54. They play a 68 because it goes to overtime. Minnesota, Oakland, our free pick. Take the game under. And as Greg John says, 3-0. Calls it a worst game ever. I call it a great game because I got Minnesota under 46, and they score 3. It's a perfect game for me. I had Minnesota winning 17-13. They win 3-0. Over under 40.5. Never moved in Oakland, so it's in a dome. Under 46.5. Never gets threatened. Now I didn't see the game why it went 3-0. That's going for 4th down. How many picks did Dobbs throw? You had O'Connell. That's why I like the under. Minnie is playing good defense. I knew Oakland's their defensive tackle was playing. What's Dobbs? He threw 4 interceptions the last game in a 12-10 game with the Bears. And here you got Oakland, who can't score either. They're an under team, so that's why I thought of the under. And I knew I had 17-13 Minnesota. So I have a 30-point game, which is way under, and it's 3-0. I saw the 3-0. I thought, oh, that's first quarter. And I see it's final, and I'm like, great, I won. So all of a sudden, now keep in mind, it starts at 7 o'clock, the early game. So at 10:30, I'm getting ready for bed because I got to catch a 4 o'clock. I got to get up at 4 for the flight, and I can't sleep because I'm so nervous about the games. So anyway, I don't see these late games till this morning at the airport in Berlin. So first I open, I see 3-0 Minnesota. I see 37-31 Baltimore. I'm going, okay, so far so good. Then I see Frisco wins 28-16. Smith doesn't play, but I'm waiting. He's questionable. He's questionable against Purdy. I know the Niners are going to win, but the line went from 10. I was going to bet him at 4.5. And I don't know why I didn't. I thought I did. So I didn't play them. Then it goes to 13.5, and I can't play them at 7.5. And they almost didn't cover. They got a late touchdown to go 28-16 and beat them. Give Coach Pete credit. It was a 44. I did like over 46, but without Smith, how many points is Seattle going to score? It was It was funny. It was 31-13 Thanksgiving, and it's again 44, 28-16 here. I knew the Niners would score a lot on Seattle. They have a 24 defense. And it's ironic. Seattle scored 16 on the Niners, 16 defense. So that's where Coach Pete comes in, right? So it was pretty good game. I thought the number got too high. At 10, I was going to lay 4 and hope they won by 7, which they were almost going to do. So I don't play it. But again, I have the Niners and I have the over, all for naught. And then here come the locks. Buffalo. I get it at 3. I lock it. As soon as I see the 3, I lock it. And then it goes down to 1.5. I played it again with the Army. Well, I played the Army under. And so so I had that game open, Buffalo, and I see Buffalo wins 20-17, and I'm all okay, good. I got Buffalo plus 9, plus 8. I knew Kansas City was going to have a problem with Pacheco out. They have no receivers. It's all Kelsey, so they're not scoring a lot. They are actually in this game. I looked at them as a weak as a weak favorite. And I thought Buffalo was a strong dog, and Buffalo was back against the wall, and Kansas City really wasn't. And I thought Buffalo was. I didn't think they'd win. Well, I actually did think they would. I had it 27-20 Buffalo, and they won 20-17. Two defenses, an 18-17. It was a good underplay, which I had circled. 48, which I did not understand that number, because Vegas is still thinking Kansas City's an over team. They don't have any receivers. Pacheco is out. They're not an over team. They don't score, but they got a good defense. So 20-17, a 37. I figured that, but I liked Buffalo. So as I'm analyzing it, I like Buffalo as the 9-point dog. I said, that's the play. Kansas City's, it's going to be a close game, as it was, a 3-point game. I did have Buffalo winning because their backs were against the wall. They had to win it, and Kansas City just isn't. And then I was watching the KC Green Bay game, and I'm watching all the guys get injured, and I'm going, well, hell, how healthy is their defense? Even if they play, they're hurt. And I said, okay, that'll be the difference, is that Allen should have a good game, which he did. So have the Buffalo, that's lock number 2. So lock number 1, Detroit over, because it was a low over at 40, because they're worried about the weather. I'm going, I don't give a shit. Fields is going to run all over the place, which I guess he did. And then I got Buffalo beating KC as a weak favorite. So here we go. 2 totally different reasons, but two locks. Lock number 3, Denver over San Diego. You know how I like Denver. Coach Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, and they're looking good. And if you notice, a lot of their players are here's what they did. Jerry Jeudy from Alabama is playing very well and then they got rid of the Stadler from Penn State. He was always injured. I saw he was on a taxi squad for another team. He's not even on the team anymore. That's what you do, is you get rid of this shit. But they didn't, but they did, and now they win 24-7, which I was shocked. I had them winning 27-17. Obviously, Herbert got hurt in the game. So finally, once the other quarterback gets hurt, normally it's been my court. I bet Pickett. Pickett gets hurt twice. So finally, I get where Herbert gets hurt, and I got a lock on Denver. So they win 24-7. I got 8.5, 9 points with Denver. Lock number 3's won. So I've won the Detroit over, Buffalo, Denver, 2 dogs that were very live that won. And here comes lock 4, Philly, Dallas. Dallas 3.5, 51. I'm worried about Philly's defense. It's a 24. They've been scored on, and Dallas is very good at home. So I don't take Philly. I got Philly lock and Philly over lock. And I said, no, let's go with the over. There'll be points. And it was 33-13. Dallas wins a 46. I'm over 45 on the lock. And I have it in 2 teasers, one with Detroit. So the big lock was Detroit over, Philly over. And then the second lock was Denver plus Buffalo. Buffalo with the Army, Philly, and another teaser. I had Army and 2 teasers, Army under and 2 teasers. One with, I just had them in one with Buffalo. Buffalo and 2. So this is how you do teasers. And basically gold and basically girls and basically everything. If it's something good, you want more of it. So if I'm buying gold, why do I want 1 ounce if I can get 2? Or like if I stop at 5, I'll get 10. If I got a good lock like Buffalo or Denver, why do I want to play it in 1 teaser? It's a good pick. So that's why when people ask me, yeah, I can give you, let's say I give you 8 games. I'll probably go 6-2, but it's how you bet them and how many teasers you put them in. So how do I count my results when Philly and 2 teasers win? Well, is that 2 winners or is that 1 winner Philadelphia over? And that's why I always kind of don't know how to answer the question, because the way I bet, I'm hammering the Detroit. So I have the Detroit over, Philly over for 33 units. And then I got like the Indy, I think New Orleans teaser for 11 units. So I win the 33, I lose the 11. I'm up 22 units, even though I won 1 and lost 1. That's the beauty of me and the teasers. All right, so lock number 4 is in. So we fit Detroit over, Buffalo and Denver straight, Philly over, because I know they score a lot and don't have a good defense. So this is where they missed Jim Schwartz, who went to Cleveland. I don't know what happened in the Cleveland game, 31-27. I'm shocked Flacco did so well, but now it exposes how weak Jacksonville is. See, when they kept playing Houston and Indy and Tennessee, you kind of didn't see they were terrible. Same thing with the Lions. When the Lions were playing Carolina and Atlanta and Oakland, you didn't see how they weren't that good. And I kept saying they're not that good. They're beating shit teams. What's happened? They play the Bears at home and they should have lost. They lose to Green Bay Thanksgiving. They lose at the Bears now. And then they end with 2 Minnesotas, Denver, and Dallas. They're going to lose all 4 of those. There's no way they're going to beat Minnesota. So they're going to go 9-8. But that's what they are. But you didn't see it because they got a bullshit call against Kansas City week 1. And then they played Carolina, the worst team in the league, and they played Oakland, and they played Atlanta and Tampa Bay. So they played all the shit teams, and they beat them, so they looked really good. Now they're playing not even good teams. Green Bay and Chicago are not good teams. Minnesota's not a good team, but I guarantee Minnesota will give them all they want. They'll win at Minnie, and they'll probably win at Detroit. I hear Detroit kept going for 4th down again. It's a turnover. This Detroit coach should be fired. He doesn't understand the concept. And I heard the guys on the radio listening to me again going, you should be punting and make a long field. Well, what do I tell you? Play field position. That's the game. Bo and Woody. They were successful for one reason. Bear Bryant would never go 4th down like that. Maybe once in a game, but not, a surprise fake punt or something. But 99 times out of 100, Joe Paterno, Bear Bryant, all these guys are punting the ball, playing defense. They all had good defenses. The Lions don't have a good defense. So maybe the coach realizes that, but they're all turnovers. It's the same as a fumble. You pump up the other team, and your team gets discouraged because you didn't make the 4th down. Why aren't you punting? They start questioning the coach. San Diego coach has got to be on his way out because they're not going to win a game without Herbert. And he's proven he's an idiot. If you don't win with the talent San Diego has, are you kidding me? That's a coach problem there. So now we get to today's game. Come into the Teaser King's mind. What do we got? So how do we pick today's game? Oh, by the way, if you ever get these boarding passes with the QR code, it's perfect. The um, all the airports have free Wi-Fi, and you just scan it. I didn't even go to the. I never went to the counter to check in. I checked in online. I got this boarding pass. I took the boarding pass. Security. Um, this second. Jesus. Oh, here's another scam. Thank you for your order. VV from Ernest Gentry. Should I tell him to fuck off too? All right. So that's the new thing now. You biometric it, you just show it on the thing, and it's on your passport. So if you don't even have it, your passport, you just check it online, you're all set. I'll get more into that. So we're looking at tonight's game. And the line is a 532. And the game is at I got week 15 up. I moved on. I started studying next week. All right, at 2:15, which is the fuck time is that? Probably 7:15, I guess. It's a 6-hour difference. We've got Miami 13.5, 45.5. Number's gone down from 46.5. Derrick Henry is playing. Last I looked, but we'll look again. So I got Tennessee as an under team. They give up 21 a game, but they don't score a lot. And Miami is an over team, as we know, with the 22 defense. They score 28, I think maybe even 30. But they're laying 13.5. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I can't lay 13.5. In fact, I like Tennessee with the 19.5 because I'm sitting there going, 19.5. Really? Miami doesn't blow out good teams. They blow out bad teams. So Chris Hubbard. Okay. Let's see. So I see Henry playing, it looks like. And that's it. I don't really see injuries for Tennessee. And Miami's injuries, I think everybody is playing who we need to be playing, which are Mozart and Tyreek Hill are the key ones. So looks like pretty healthy. 13.5, 45. Here's my score. Miami 31, Tennessee 13, a 44. The over-under's 45. I know Miami will score on Tennessee, but Tennessee should move the ball with Henry. He should run right through him like butter. Hey, Alex. Thanks, Alex. Yeah. I was in Berlin. I didn't see Hitler or anybody, and not a memorable trip. Very expensive there. They're all fucked, basically, in Europe. They're all going to, when the euro goes to zero, now they will come out with a euro, I think, gold-backed currency, a gold-backed euro. But it's very expensive. The cab rides are $20, and the dinners, the food's expensive there. The buffets at the breakfast at the hotel were 19 euros a piece. What the fuck? That's crazy. So we did find some normal priced hotels, and then we went shopping And it's the same Europe. There's stores. You walk a mile away from the hotel, it's store, 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 store. Yeah, it's just crazy. Anyway, it takes you about 3 days to recover. So I get there Tuesday morning. I'm a veg. I'm a veg Wednesday, I think by Thursday. And you don't even know what time I kept it on American time. And, so it's 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock Detroit time. It's 11 o'clock, Berlin time. But thank you, Alex. And if you want the bowls, I already have a lot going in the bowls that I saw that I'm like, wow. And then I got to watch out for the guys sitting out, like Caleb Williams. And then who's their backup? And is he any good? And then all these transfer portal guys, do they play in the bowl game or not? Like Ohio State's guy, I don't think he's playing. Spread jump from Ohio State 7 to Missouri 2 or something. Anyway, it's $100 for all the bowls. That's finally posted on the site. $200 if you want all the pros through the Super Bowl and all the college bowls and all of course, the locks and everything else. So that is out there. Anyway, so I scored tonight 31-13, Miami. I don't think Tennessee can really stop them. But Miami's not going to put up 40 points against a good defense. Vrabel will have him in a 2-deep zone, and he's not going to let the deep ball beat him. Make Miami, then what's Tyreek Hill, and what are they going to do? There's a rugged Tennessee defense. I like Tennessee in the 19.5. That's ridiculous. People don't understand how to look at it. I'm worried about the bowls with the transfer portal and sit-outs. Well, that's exactly right. And you really don't. I've seen Michigan where they basically Jamar Peppers sits out 5 minutes before the game. So the one I don't get is Dylan Gabriel going from Oklahoma to Oregon. I don't understand that move at all. And I don't understand this NIL offering Cameron Ward from Washington State $1 million to switch school. He's not that good. What do they do? Where are they getting $1 million from? I won't make any bowl bets until just before the game, so I know who is playing. Well, Alabama, you can bet now, because ain't nobody sitting out the playoff. That's why I like the 12-team playoff next year. We know we have 6 games where the guys aren't sitting out. So really, is Bo Nix sitting out? And one game that's a very interesting game is Georgia-Florida State. There's no way the Georgia quarterback's sitting out. Florida State's quarterback's already sitting out. But I think you pretty much know your team there. And my question is, I think Georgia's going to lay it on them because they're going to want to say, look, we beat the undefeated team. We should have been in the playoff. They're going to play. They're not losing to Alabama and then just going to do that. And Florida State, I don't think there's nothing they can do against Georgia. With the third-string quarterback, what are they going to do? Gabriel did that for money. That's it. They will be Gabriel's payday because he won't cash in for the NFL. This is his chance to make money. I think he'd be a good NFL quarterback, but why doesn't Oklahoma then make an offer to keep him? Is that how it works? So if Oregon makes him an offer, can't Oklahoma match it? I don't know. This is what I've never heard of this. This is really so strange. They are getting a free education that's worth about $200,000 now. Does that not count? Plus, they fuck all their teammates down. When Bo Nix transferred, it's because he sucked at Auburn. Which takes you back to you've got to be with the right coach. Look at Van Dyke. He was great, and he got fucked with Cristobal doesn't know how to coach. Look at Hartman at Wake Forest, those 45 touchdowns, comes to Notre Dame. I don't think he got 20. Again, a bad offensive coordinator. Yeah, as far as I heard that. Penix will graduate, so I'm curious who Washington gets. Notre Dame loses Hartman. Who are they going to get? Miami's losing Van Dyke. Rising will stay at Utah. McCall again is going to try to transfer from Coastal Carolina, and a few others leaving, but we'll see. All right, so I like the 19.5 in the Titans, and I like the over of 46 over 40. It's not I mean, Miami's going to get you 30 points tonight. They don't need the game because they got now a 3-game lead over, or 2.5 over Buffalo. So there really isn't, we need to win. Tennessee, they're so bad this year with 4 wins that I don't think they honestly think they can make the play. I mean, they'd have to win out to go 9-8, and I don't think they can do it with that. So I think there'll be points. With Henry, I think Henry scores 2 or 3 touchdowns, and I think Tyreek Hill puts up 2 or 3 touchdowns. So I see 31-13 is 44. We only need 40. Either bet will work, the 19 or the over. I think are both good bets in that game. And also at, what is this, 7:15, we got Green Bay 5.5, 37. It was 6.5. Let's check injuries here. Well, we'll go to our injury page in a minute. Green Bay. Aaron Jones is questionable with the knee, but I'll have to go to another site because I don't think that's updated as of today. Christian Watson's out, the receiver, but again, they have 4 or 5 of them that he throws to, and they're facing the Giants. Waller, the tight end's out with the hamstring. Why would you leave Oakland to go to the Giants? So there's no, Barkley will play. So let's go to the injury list. So 5.5, 37. Green Bay, I don't know if they're an under team. Love is getting better. They just beat Kansas City. They must win the game. The Giants are, basically a Z team. Give up 25. I think I got Green Bay winning 24-10 here. It's a must win for them. They beat KC. I don't think you become flat after beating KC. I think you get pretty good. Love has looked good for Love. I still don't think he's that good. We'll see how he handles this game. But I'm still not a Love believer against Danny DeVito, who he's got 7 touchdowns and 3 picks. He's getting touchdowns, so I don't think he's that bad. I don't think it's actually Danny out there. I got 24-10 Green Bay. Green Bay does have an excellent defense. So I like Green Bay in the game. Because they beat KC, they must win. Their back's against the wall. Love's playing well. I'm not concerned Aaron Jones is out because the backup's fine, Dylan. I'm not concerned the wide receiver's out because he's throwing to 4 or 5 receivers. And their defense has been very strong. They're a 20 defense. Again, you're going against the Giants with the 25 defense. Does DeVito light it up? Not against Green Bay's defense. This bet is based on Green Bay's defense. New Orleans, Carolina's bet was based on New Orleans defense, and Carolina is being a Z team. So we're just looking for Carolina and we're betting against them. And the line isn't right. New Orleans was only 6. I cut it to even. It was a joke. They have to win, and they're playing a Z team, and it's only 6. Should have been, like in college, would have been 14 to 17 points. Should have been the line. And they win 28-6. I was never worried in that game. That was an absolute joke. Why I didn't like that game with the Baltimore over, I have no idea. But I'm making my locks, and then here comes Lamar's questionable with no, he's playing. And same thing with New Orleans. Is Carr playing? Is Olave playing? And so you got to hold your bet until you see, are they playing, like Alex is saying, Sunday morning. Let's go to our second injury on covers. So all we care about is tonight's game. So let's look at Tennessee, Miami. So Miami, let's see. Mozart, probable. Tyreek Hill, which I think he's bullshit. I think he's fine. Ekany, I think running back from A&M is probable. Ahmed, he's the other running back. He's out. Yeah, so Miami's, for them, you need Tyreek Hill and everything. For the Giants, Tyrod Taylor, is he going to be the quarterback? And is he better than Danny DeVito? It says he's probable with ribs. Let's see. Daniel Jones, IR. Waller, out with the hamstring. That's about all we know. So is Tyrod Taylor... Sorry, I'm working. Is Tyrod Taylor going to be the starter, and will he go? I'm going to go to one other site where it has the starters, although it didn't tell me Flacco was starting, so I don't know. Then we go to Tennessee. I think we did Tennessee. We've got Will Levis, probable with an ankle. Henry, probable with a head. So they're okay. And then did we do Green Bay? Let me check. I might not have. Green Bay, Aaron Jones, doubtful with the knee, but we are expecting him to be out anyway. So that is not any news. If he played, would have been news, but that we've already factored in. Quay Walker, my Georgia linebacker, is doubtful with his shoulder. A.J. Dillon, the running back, will play. Watson's out with the hamstring, their wide receiver. Reed, the other wide receiver we're worried about, is probable. And that's it. So Green Bay's ready to go. So as of what we're seeing now, let's see who our starters are. NFL starting lineups on rotowire.com. Refresh. And let's go down to the bottom. Tennessee, Miami, Will Levis, Henry, Hopkins, all are go. Tagliabue, Mozart, Hill, Waddle. So everybody's starting for Tennessee and Miami that you think. Green Bay, Jordan Love, Aaron Jones is questionable. We know he's probably out. Dobbs, Reed, and Wicks. It doesn't say Watson's out. It just says Jaden Reed's playing, or Romeo Dobbs, or D. Wicks, whoever that is. Giants enlist Danny DeVito as the starter. So Tyrod Taylor, let's take a look at Danny DeVito and see if he's any good. Don't you know? Can't you look at the skill set in college and say he's good or not? I could do that with Joe Burrow. I did that with Lamar. I could do that with Bo Nix and say this guy's great, and Penix. Caleb, I mean, why is it so hard to see? Well, they have to see him in the pros. If you run the offense that they're good at running and understand this is the type of offense that Bo Nix is good in, don't run the Auburn offense where he sucked, run the Oregon offense. And if you don't know it, then go hire an Oregon offensive coordinator or somebody who knows their offense and use it, because they score 45 a game. Why the pros aren't running more of these college offenses, I have no idea. Although I don't like the running quarterback. I think that hurts them. But so it says DeVito, Barkley, Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee, and it's Love again. So you've got Watson out, the receiver, and Aaron Jones out, the running back. So, but we already know that. So I still like Green Bay. I would like him a little less if Tyrod Taylor was actually the quarterback. But with DeVito, again, we're still feeling out him. So I got Green Bay with the 20 defense, the under team. The Giants are a Z team. Green Bay must win the game to try to catch the Lions and get the playoff spot. So I like Green Bay. They're coming off. They beat Detroit. They beat KC. Team's a lot better than the Giants. They won at Detroit and then the Kansas City game. So I'm really betting the Green Bay defense and hoping Love keeps going with what he's doing. So that is my two games tonight. What the fuck are they doing? 2 Monday night games. Now, you want to hear something really stupid? I went ahead and looked at next week's schedule. Friday night, San Diego at Oakland. Saturday, mini Cincinnati, Pitt, Indy. Sunday, your normal volume of games. Monday, Baltimore and Jacksonville. And Tuesday, Philadelphia, Seattle. What the fuck's going on? Maybe I'm wrong because of my time zone. And maybe the Philly-Seattle game's also Monday night because I'm really surprised by the Tuesday. That could be what's happening. Let's see. Let's go to week 15. Again, my time is fucked up on here because I got the Raider San Diego game 12:15 at 2:15. So maybe that is Thursday. Yeah, I bet that's what it is. But the 16th, well, today's the 11th, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So these are Saturday games. I would think the San Diego-Oakland game is Thursday, not Friday, because that doesn't make sense. And then we got our normal Monday. What is the Lions game? Is that in London? I see it at 2:15 a.m., which is actually the 16th. So that's actually a Friday night game. So maybe it's a Friday night game. I would think I'd be shocked that it was a game in London this time of the year. Noon, 3, 7 on Saturday. So there's 3 games Saturday. Boom, boom. And so the Detroit game is Saturday. Yeah, I would be surprised that they would do London. And then, so when is the Seahawk game? So Baltimore-Jacksonville is the Sunday night game. And then Philly-Seattle is the Monday night game. So I'm getting fucked because it gives me the times, right? It says 2 in the morning because I'm still, for some reason, on German time in here, which I don't know why. But I thought that's kind of weird, a Monday and a Tuesday. So, yeah, Baltimore is Sunday night. That makes sense. And then Monday night is the Eagles-Seattle. Okay. So I take that back. It's Thursday, 3 Saturdays, and then Sunday and a Monday night as it normally is. Okay. So Detroit's really a night game at Detroit. It's not. Okay. So looking at the line here, we got San Diego, Oakland, both under teams. Oakland with the 20 defense. San Diego now with Herbert out. I don't know the quarterbacks yet because I haven't seen that. Who quarterback for Herbert yesterday? I'll check it out later. Oakland's got who at quarterback? O'Connell. Hey, over under a 34. Oakland 3-34. So you want me to believe Easton Stick is going against O'Connell, and this is a pro football game. I got under all over this one. But this is what happened to me last week. I wanted Jacksonville under because I figure Lawrence isn't playing. That's why I played him under. And then he plays, and you're like, And then against Flacco. Flacco was never listed. It was always Thompson Robinson. So I go, well, no quarterbacks, good defenses, nothing. Then we go to Saturday. Cincinnati, 4.5, 40 against Minnesota. Why is Cincinnati this big of a favorite? Is there something I'm missing about Browning? Hasn't played in 5 years, and you're laying 4.5. Are the Cincinnati games fixed? Is Joe Burrow playing under a different uniform? I don't get this at all. Forget many winning 3-0. They won. They need the game. So does Cincinnati. This is a playoff game. Both teams need it. I'm all over Mini and 10.5 unless I'm missing. I don't know what I'm missing. When I looked at the box score of the Cincy Indy game, which I thought, wow, I get 8-9 points with Indy, and they win by 20. And now it was a lot of turnover. It was more their Cincinnati defense than the offense. So I'm right now. I'm going. I got Jefferson. That's the other thing. 3-0, and you had Jefferson. So here you get 10.5 in Minnesota from Cincy without Burrow. Okay, that's one. Indy 342 against Pitt. We know it's Trubisky against Minshew. Indy's an over team. Pitt, I don't know what they are. I think they're an under team, but not the way their defense looked. Against Bailey Zappi. See, why didn't he play Zappi the whole year? It doesn't make any sense. He looked really good. Let's not play him. And then I finally get near the end of the year, and I play Zappi, and he throws for 3 touchdowns against the Pitt defense. And you're like, why hasn't he been playing the whole year? What are we missing that he's not playing Zappi? Now what are you going to do? You're going to trade Mac Jones? What idiot team would take Mac Jones? Well, probably the Lions, but you've proven he sucks. I don't know what they're doing. Now, they're going to be very interesting because they get a top pick in the draft loaded with quarterbacks. So are they going to get Bo Nix or Penix? They don't need goodbye Trubisky, goodbye Jones, and goodbye Zappi. All right, so Indy 342 against Pitt with Trubisky. Indy's an over team. They give up 25. Pitt, again, is an under team, but it's going to have trouble scoring. Taylor's out for Indy. This will be I'll have to figure this out. Denver, Detroit. So this is Saturday night in Detroit. Detroit -4, 47. This is not an over game. This is a Denver game all the way. Let's make this our free play. Well, we'll make it a free play once we review injuries, but more or less it's going to be our free play. Denver beats KC, and then they just beat San Diego, granted, but they knocked Herbert out. He was started. And here comes Detroit, turnover prone. Let's go for 4th down every time, apparently. 13 points on the Bears. What are they going to score against fucking Denver, a team with a really good defense? And what are they going to do with Russell Wilson that they can't handle mobile quarterbacks? Lamar lit him up. Geno Smith lit him up. And here comes Russell Wilson. Wow. This could be our first lock of the weekend. Denver and 10 against the Lions. With the it's a 24 defense, but let's take out the Carolina, Atlanta, Oakland games, and let's look at the last 5 games. Chicago twice, Green Bay, San Diego, and they're like a 35 defense. So Denver's licking their chops here, I think. They must win. They're a game behind Kansas City now for I'm telling you, they're going to win the West. And I think they're being the championship game now. I think you're going to see Denver against. I'm still waiting for Aaron Rodgers to come back, but I think it's Denver and it looks like Baltimore. not Miami. Maybe Buffalo. Baltimore. It would have been Cincinnati. It would have been Denver, Cincy if Burrow didn't get hurt. I think it might be Denver, Baltimore, but Lamar's not going anywhere. Maybe Denver, Kansas City. I mean, Mahomes can always beat anybody. Denver will be in the AFC Championship game. No question at all. And I said that as soon as they hired Sean Payton. And that's the value of a good coach versus all the shit coaches that are in the league. Him and Coach Pete are head and shoulders above everybody else. All right. Cleveland 3-38 to the Bears. This is a very interesting game. The Bears are playing very good defense, which is what attracts me to teams is the defense, not the fucking offense. I don't get attracted to Miami, but I do get attracted to San Francisco and Kansas City now. So Cleveland, Chicago, 3-38. Although Cleveland's been letting up points a lot more than they were. I like the Bears in the 9 and probably over 32. I don't know. The Bears are playing really good defense. 28 on the Lions doesn't mean anything. Their defense sucks. So I don't know. Right now, I got to check that. Do I want the Bears or do I want over or under? Green Bay, 3.5, 42 against Tampa. We have to watch tonight's game, make sure the injuries. Will we get Watson back? And I don't think we'll get Jones. He's only played the first game, and then he's gotten hurt. Over under a 42. These are both very strong under teams with very strong defenses. I think this could be an under game, but we'll see. Houston, Tennessee. Tennessee, a 2-37 to Houston. C.J. Stroud got hurt yesterday, apparently. I think Tennessee's a weak favorite, but if Henry runs it down their throat, I don't care what they are. Maybe you go under 43, especially if Stroud's out, then it becomes an under because it's just going to be head the ball to Derrick Henry 50 times, much like our Army-Navy game. So I love that game went under. I was like so happy. Because the over-under is 28, and I still said go under 34, and it was like, and I told you Army was going to win because they have better running. So it's always the running is the key to the game, not the throwing. Because if it's windy, you're fucked, but you can still run the ball into the wind. Doesn't matter. Miami and the Jets, Jets. Miami minus 12. With the 40 over under. The Jets we know are the under team with the 20 defense, and Miami with the 22, which I question that it's really 22. See, this is the thing. You get the weak part of the schedule and it skews your numbers. That's why I look into the last 5 or 6 games. They're playing better now, like Chicago and Green Bay and Minnesota and Detroit are all switched from where they were because the level of the talent they're playing. So off the top of my head, I think this is I don't see Miami doing a lot of scoring here. The way Zach Wilson plays, maybe you take the Jets in 18, like it's Super Bowl III all over again. Why is Miami favored by so much? They're an offensive team. They have no defense. Tagovailoa, I mean, it's just throwing the hill. The Jets will take care of that. I don't think they scored 20 points in the game, Miami. I'd be scared to go over in a Jet game, right? And Miami's good at home. They are a good home favorite, just like Dallas is. That's as far as I'm going with them. I'm not laying 12 for sure. Either take the Jets, like tonight, either take Tennessee in 19, which I think is money. Now there, I think you could get away with over 40. We're here. The over-under is 40. All I need is 34 in a Miami game. I think that's very doable because I think the Jets will score on Miami. Just like tonight, I think Tennessee scores because Henry, they're not going to stop Henry. He'll get 2 or 3 touchdowns. And then, Tyreek Hill scores. That's how I look at the game. Well, the Jets don't. Brees Hall was hurt. Hopefully Wilson plays a little better. Tagovailoa will have a hard time scoring on the Jets defense. It's a 20 defense. So I don't know. This is first blood, right? We got to look at injuries. KC 9 over New England, 17 defense. KC is not. They're a weak favorite because they don't score. They got a good defense. New England, I thought they had a good defense, but Trubisky scored on them. 21-18 to Pitt is not a good defense. Yeah, I got you, Alex. Yeah, this is the problem. With most of I think the problem with the league is you're paying $30 million for the quarterback that you shouldn't be paying, like Daniel Jones, which leaves you Danny DeVito because you don't have money to then buy the defense, buy your offensive line, buy your wide receiver. Miami's in big trouble because they're going to have to pay tag $30 million, and they got Tyreek Hill. The only reason that's why Kansas City couldn't afford him. They can't pay Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and try to have the rest of the team. And that's the problem with the salary cap. You cannot pay one guy $35 million. New England, what they did was they didn't pay Brady the top. They probably gave money under the table. And we'll buy you a house, and we'll buy you a boat, and we'll buy you a house in France. And probably all this shit is what they gave him. And then his salary was $20 million, and then they could afford the other players. That's why they let like Richard Seymour go, or some of these other players who were really good, but they wanted big dollars. So they paid we'll pay everybody $5 million and Brady 20. That's why he never had receivers and he never had running backs. They were always weak second-tier players because that's really the only way. Because the salary cap, you cannot afford what Lamar's making. $50 million? Baltimore's done. Because now they don't have money to renew anybody. So they get like this year, and then next year the players will come back. They won't get it. You watch. The Lions will not keep Goff. Now they can use the excuse, well, look at the interceptions he's throwing. But if they pay him $30 million, they're out of their fucking minds. A lot of teams, Greg, need a quarterback. I mean, most of the league – you got stick against O'Connell, San Diego, and Oakland. Even if they're ready, you've got Garoppolo, who's always injured. Look at Trubisky starting for Pitt. I don't mind Minshew, but he's not Bo Nix or anybody. Denver, you got Russell Wilson. Goff is a choke. And then the Bears with Fields, I don't like them. I think they changed their offense a little bit. They're getting points from him. I don't think he's Chicago's problem. It's the defense. And we go down. Jordan Love for Green Bay. Is he any good? He's had a few good games, but is he any good? Mayfield, you got Trask. I don't know why Tampa's not using him. Anyway, let's get back to this. So KC -9, 9.5, 37 to New England. I think you got to go under in the game. I mean, New England's a W team. I think KC, okay, they've now lost, 3 in a row? They lost to Denver. They've lost to Buffalo. And they lost to Green Bay. Well, I know they lost 2 in a row. But they don't have any receivers. How does KC with Mahomes not get the second string guy at SMU who's got to be better than anything they have? It just blows my mind. Then you got Zappy. So Zappy will keep him close. I think New England in 15 with Zappy could be okay. KC -3. I don't have any confidence in KC lighting up New England. I mean, New England's bad, but I just don't have confidence in KC's offense. Have to look into that, but their backs are against the wall. A 1-game lead over Denver, who plays Saturday. So if Denver beats Detroit, they're basically tied with KC. They're in a back against the wall must win. So if Denver wins, KC has to win. If you can get it under 3, I think you have to go that way. The Giants in New Orleans, Z-Team Giants, New Orleans must win. 6-36. Just like the Carolina game, you take New Orleans as long as Olave's playing, as long as Carr's playing. At home, they'll beat the Giants even. This is a Z team. They should be laying 10 to 12 points in this game, and they're laying 6 down to even. That's ridiculous. Atlanta, Carolina. Atlanta's only a 3-point favorite. Over under 35. Carolina, the Z team with the 26 defense. Atlanta is more of an under team with the 21 with the Riddler. Atlanta in a must-win game. Again, they're only laying 3 to a Z team. How much do we trust Atlanta is the problem. We'll have to study that a little bit more. But their back's against the wall. They need the game. Carolina's just pathetic. I would take Georgia and lay 2 touchdowns against Carolina. Washington and the Rams, our next Z team, Washington, 30 defense against the Rams, 22. They gave Baltimore all they wanted. I was hoping they would have won the game. My ears are still plugged from the plane. So, again, I got the Rams minus 10. They're only 7. I mean, this is a joke. Now, I got to make sure of the injuries, so don't quote me yet. I also think this is an easy over, 48 against a 30 defense in Washington. Thurston Howell III, I mean, they'll score a little on the Rams. The Rams will light up Washington. I think the Rams minus 1's a joke, and over 42 is a joke. And the Rams have to win, right? So now we're getting to the point, there's 4 games left. They have to win. And this league sucks. So when you get LA, Washington, another Z team, okay, I can understand 1 or 2 Z teams in the NFL, but I would see 5 or 6 A teams. And I don't see all the A teams I see right now are basically San Francisco, Dallas, Baltimore. Philly's now an over. Buffalo is a B team. Kansas City is an under team, if you can believe that. There's just very few A teams. And it becomes, you got to pay the quarterback all this money if you're lucky enough to get a good defense, or do you have to, are you going to be like the Niners with this great defense, but you are able to score because you got lucky that you don't have to pay Purdy $35 million yet? Or Baltimore, you got Lamar, you have a good defense. So but they can't run, and the receivers suck. But anyway, so there's very few A teams, and this league just sucks. But we know that. So again, Washington over, or LA over the Z team, Washington, Atlanta over the Z team, Carolina, Frisco against Arizona, Frisco 14-46. They're the A team with a 15 fucking defense against Arizona with the 25 defense. Name the score. The Niners are now tied for the 1 seed, but they beat Frisco and Philly. The Niners are the 1 seed, as I told you. They needed to beat Philly, and then they keep going because they're the ones, because they needed Philly to lose. Philly's not the 1 seed anymore. I don't know if Philly or Dallas, they're tied. Who's the winner of the division and who's the wild card? It won't really matter. But the Niners are the best team, so they've crushed them both against Arizona. Do they need the game? Well, I still think they need the game because it does. You got Philly and Dallas. They both are gonna, even if they lose, and Dallas is on the same time. Philly's the Monday night game, so even if they lose, they've got to. Frisco's got to win, even if they both lose, to now have a 1-game lead with 3 to play, and they want to clinch the 1. They want the bye. So a team like the Niners, they want the bye, right? So I think the Niners here, you got Kyler Murray, which I don't know. So he runs around a lot. The Niners have been there, done that already with him. Maybe you go over 46. I think the Niners score 30. What's Arizona going to do against the Niners? Is always – that's the problem in the Niner games. Are the other team going to score or not? So we'll see. Dallas, Buffalo, the game of the week. Dallas, the A team, Buffalo, really a B team this year. They're losing to a lot of good teams. So, it's a little different. Buffalo's 1.5, 48. Both teams have the 18 defense. Dallas just scores a little bit more, but mostly at home. Dallas went to Frisco and got their ass kicked. Now they're going to Buffalo. Buffalo has to win the game. Dallas has to win the game for the 1 seed to keep the lead in the division. This is a barn burner. Normally, what do I tell you? When the A teams that are true A teams, which we have here, you tease the dog. Also, I think it's an over because Buffalo is really not. I mean, they're an 18, but look at. Yeah, they played KC 2017. Dallas is a little stronger offense than KC. 48. Do I want to go over 42 or under 54? I think in a Buffalo game, you never they're going to score more than Dallas. It'll be cold. We got to check for snow, of course. We're getting into that part of it. I think this is a tight game. I think it's probably more of an over than a. See, here's where you got an A team and you got an 18 defense, and which one wins? And I go back to Washington, Oregon, where it's a very similar numbers, and they went over both times. And Oklahoma, Texas, both defenses were that, but they had played high school teams in that. So Dallas and Buffalo, I think it's still Buffalo over. I think at home, let me come with this. I can't imagine this is not a 24-20 game, which is a 44. We only need 42. I can't imagine it doesn't get higher than that. What do we do? Dallas, Philly, 33-13. So they scored. Well, yeah, but Philly doesn't have that good of a defense. So they still played a 46 with Dallas and Philly, and this should be very similar to that game. So Buffalo's in the 20s, Dallas is in the 20s here. Probably a live dog, probably an over. Alex, cross-league games between teams with good offenses. This game will be in 60s, barring bad weather. Well, I always look at Micah Parsons and Buffalo, without Von Miller. Really hasn't done anything this year. Milano's out. But are you going to bar the bad weather in Buffalo in December? So that's the key to it. We got to keep our eyes on that. And that's what this is. I got the weather here. So if we go to, I must have put it down. There's a weather one I have where it shows you the weather, which I'll pull up tomorrow, where the teams. So that's where I was getting the 20-mile-an-hour winds and the 15. But as I see on Monday, they came out and freaked out. 20-mile-an-hour winds here and there and everywhere. By game time, most of them were 10-mile-an-hour winds, and the temperature was much higher. So they fucked themselves with the low totals. Okay, so it's a must-win game for both teams. It's we know Buffalo needs to win, so does Dallas. Dallas wants to win their division and be the 1 seed, and they can if they lose. So it's a playoff game. That's why I like the dog usually. Baltimore, Jacksonville. Baltimore is the 18, 17 defense. Jacksonville, I don't know what you call them now. They're an even team with a 22 defense. Baltimore 3.5, 43.5. At this point, I love Baltimore. They are just playing. I don't love Lamar, but they score, and they got a killer defense, which makes the over-under hard. Trevor Lawrence is injured, threw 3 picks yesterday, a normal Trevor Lawrence game. He's going to have trouble against this defense because they're going to blitz him, and he can't read a blitz. I think Baltimore wins. They want to get the 1 seed, and they're ahead for the 1 seed, but they still got to tangle with Kansas City, which they don't want to do. I don't think Jacksonville is any good anyway. They've had the luck of playing Houston, Tennessee, and Indy. That's 6 games against nobody. That they win, and then look at us. Who did you play again? And then the last game, Philly 5-47 over Seattle. Geno Smith didn't play. Philly's an over team. They now must win because Dallas, we'll know they're playing Sunday night. Dallas is playing Sunday afternoon. So we'll know beforehand what's going on. What Philly needs it anyway, because even if Dallas and the Niners lose, which ain't going to happen, the Niners aren't losing, so they're going to have to win regardless, and they're playing Seattle, who's not a very good home team, as you would think they would be. 21 defense, or is it? No, yeah. Philly's more of an over team, as is Seattle. So is Geno Smith playing? If Geno Smith is playing, I love the game over because it's 47 down to 41. And we got the receivers, and Philly's defense is really bad. Philly, though, is going to run the Madoff play a bunch of times. So I like Philly also. So when you look at who needs it for the playoffs, you just go down the list, and it's, mini Cincinnati's a playoff game. Pitt and Indy's a playoff game. Detroit and Denver's a playoff game. Cleveland needs it. Chicago's getting close. Tampa Bay, Green Bay is a playoff game. Tennessee's a little bit too far out of it, but Houston lost. Miami and the Jets. Miami doesn't need the game, maybe for the 1 seed, but they don't. They're 3 up on their division. KC needs it against New England because here comes Denver. New Orleans needs it. The Giants are out. Atlanta needs it. Carolina's out. The Rams need it. Washington's out. So those are the games we like. And then the Niners, Arizona. The Niners want to hold on or get the 1. Well, they got the 1 seed. They got to hold it. Dallas and Buffalo, both teams need it. Baltimore, Jacksonville, both teams need it. Philly, Seattle, both teams need it. Seattle is with the Rams to try to get the final wild card. So the only thing we've got is the 1 wild card, either Dallas or Philly, whoever it is. The rest is all 7-5 and God knows what. Shit football. So that's your first glance. So I'm giving you Denver as the free pick because I love them as a dog because Detroit is a weak favorite. I mean, there's no question about it. So therefore, let's take advantage of that and make them a, Denver needs the game. No matter what happens, they're a game behind KC now. They want to win the division. They beat KC at KC, or at Denver. The way Detroit plays, they lost to the fucking Bears and the Packers. They made them look like playoff teams. I mean, the Bears won 4 games and they killed the Lions both times. Green Bay looked shitty in the beginning, but now when they played them Thanksgiving, Green Bay looked strong offense, strong defense. I mean, they almost look like an A team the last 4. I'd be shocked if they lost tonight. But then, so we got to see what happens tonight, how it develops for next week. Basically, Miami, Green Bay win. The Giants are a Z team. They're out of it. Tennessee's really out of it. Miami, if they lose, they might need it a little more. And then the Green Bay is in a must-win game. And the part that I hear on these radios, they're going, well, we like whatever. They said Aaron Jones is out and their wide receivers out, so I'm going with the Giants in 6. They don't mention that Green Bay's got a 20 defense and the Giants have a 25. They fail to connect the dots as I talk about the Titanic and gold, that we've hit the iceberg and it's going to sink, right? They can't connect the dots. Iceberg, water's coming in, the boat's going to sink. I better get the fuck off as soon as the iceberg hits, as we talk inflation. But the same thing here. Nobody's connecting the dots. Green Bay's got a 20 defense. That's why we like them tonight. We don't give a fuck about Watson being injured. They got other receivers. It's fine. They got AJ Dillon. They don't need whatchamacallit, whatever their running back is, Adam Jones, who never plays anyway. So what's the big deal if he misses? So really, does one receiver matter when you run 3 or 4 receivers? No. You got the tight end, the backs. I just think Green Bay, we're betting the defense. Miami, Tennessee, again, we're betting the defense, which is a 21 Tennessee defense. And you want to give me 13 fucking points. Are you fucking insane to give me 13 points with Levis playing, Henry playing, DeAndre Hopkins playing? Did Miami get a defense that we don't know about? Because they're not going to stop Tennessee. Vrabel will run a 2 deep zone. Keep everything in front of him. He'll put pressure. You watch him put pressure on Tagliavoa, who can't read a fucking blitz, which most of these new quarterbacks can't do, is read a fucking blitz. I've never seen such incredibly bad college coaching. Anyway, so that's pros. What was I going to talk about? There was something from the trip. Anyway, let's go to college. So college, we have the under in the Army Navy game, 17-11. I thought they went for two, but they did go for two and didn't get it. The Navy, so it's 17-9, and then they got a safety, which was actually a smart move to take the safety. Now you have a 6-point lead, so you punt the ball instead of an 8-point lead, and you punt the ball, gets blocked, and they score, and the game's tied. So that's smart coaching, but you don't find that in the NFL. So there we have it. So let's look at the bowl games. Again, I'm going to go through just the ones that I have. I have one lock already that I found. And the free play is Alabama, 1.5. They're getting 1.5 from Michigan. I'm like stunned. I'm like, it was like when I saw Denver getting 3 from San Diego. I said that as soon as I saw that, it was a lock. I knew Russell Wilson was okay. As soon as I saw Denver getting 3 from San Diego, it's a lock. Why is Alabama the dog in this game? They beat fucking Georgia. Who did Michigan beat? An okay Ohio State team and an okay Penn State team. Oh, and a pretty good UNLV team and Bowling Green team. I mean, Michigan beat nobody. Okay, give them credit for Ohio State barely, but Ohio State's not that. They're not Ohio State. They're like a middle-of-the-road Ohio State team. Alabama beat fucking Georgia. They beat fucking Tennessee. Ole Miss. The only team they lost to was a very good Texas team. Okay, and we'll see if that's a rematch. I'm not quite sure if that will be. There's no way in hell Michigan's winning this game. How? How is Michigan going to stop Milrose? How is Michigan going to run on Alabama's defense? I mean, Georgia, what was the final in the Georgia game? Jesus Christ. Georgia, 27-24. Georgia ran it down their throats and only got 24 points. You had the turnover. Believe me, this McCarthy, I don't like this quarterback at all. He's a joke. He made that one lucky pass, threw 8 guys in the Ohio State game, and then he threw the other one, which was an interception, and the refs didn't call the interception, even though the defensive guy had the ball in the end zone. Somehow that was a touchdown, okay? So he got lucky. He ain't going to get lucky against Alabama, and they're going to put pressure on him, unlike what Ohio State did not put pressure on him. I don't know why you're not blitzing more. Just you get to the quarterback. He can't move. He's not going to complete. He can't read the blitz versus playing the stupid zone when these guys are wide open in it. So I don't know. I think you put pressure on it. I don't think Michigan can put pressure on Milrose. He's too good of a runner. And again, we haven't seen Michigan enough to know how they are. Ohio State's quarterback was not an option quarterback, neither was Penn State's. They didn't play anybody who had an option quarterback. Good luck stopping Milrose is all I can say. So that's your free play, Alabama and 7.5. Thank you for letting Alabama be the dogs, all I can say. In a playoff game with Nick Saban and Alabama's a fucking dog, I bet you they're undefeated. I bet probably the only loss was to Georgia. Michigan is no Georgia. I'm still steamed that Georgia's not in the playoff. That's the biggest joke in the world. I don't know why Michigan's in there. And then Texas, Washington. Texas beat Alabama. I'm fine with that. Washington, I think Oregon should be in. Yeah, Washington beat them, but they struggled with Washington State and Oregon State. I don't think their defense is that good. I got to put up my grades on the points for the teams. I got to pull down, and it was too hard because in Germany, all the channels were German, right? So I watched a lot of Netflix on my TV here, and the Netflix is so much better there. They have all the good Netflix, and I'm like, why don't we have the good movies like they did in Germany? I was a little pissed about that, but I find when I go to Europe, the Netflix is much better than the Netflix, the selection than here. So let's look at the big games. We start Georgia Southern Ohio starts us off on the 16th. The best games on that day, Fresno State. Now, these are older lines. I got to update on my will. Fresno State 1.5, 51 against New Mexico State. I can't imagine Pavia sitting out for the pros. Mikey Keene, maybe. I don't know. Or is he transferring? Now, I do have a transfer portal site that I will keep us abreast of. The 16th is Saturday? Must be Saturday. What's today? Monday? 12, 13, 14, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so Saturday. So Georgia Southern Ohio. Miami of Ohio, App State's an interesting one. I like App State a lot. They got a really good quarterback. I don't know now. Is that what it's about? Like this App State quarterback's really good. Transfers to what? North Carolina. I'm not sure. Fresno State, Mikey Keene, is he playing? Otherwise, I love New Mexico State if he does play. UCLA, Boise, UCLA. Now their quarterback is transferring. The freshman from Detroit who sucked this year. Who wants him? What is it about the kid that you saw that you'd want him to make your quarterback? Oh, he was good in high school. Well, big fucking deal. So we got UCLA Garbers, I guess, will be the quarterback against Boise. And that quarterback is transferring. So who do we got at quarterback? Or do they still play the bowl game and then they transfer? This is unknown to me. And then Cal against Texas Tech. Cal 1.5, 58. UCLA's 3.48. Cal 1.5, 58. I really love Cal. Their nobody. Ott is the only player that you'd have to worry about. And Texas Tech, they got their backup quarterback Morton. They do have a good running back, so I don't know if the running backs move or not. That'll be a good game. Then let's see. Good game on the 23rd. James Madison in the Air Force. If Larnard is playing the quarterback at Air Force, this will be a really good game. If he's not, I think it's an under because without the quarterback, Air Force isn't scoring, and James Madison has a great defense. So you got two great defensive teams. So you take away Air Force's quarterback, and it should be maybe you play James Madison. They're only laying 3.5, but it's a good under then because Air Force isn't going to score, but they got a great defense. That's the perfect under we're looking for. Utah State, Georgia State. This is a joke. Utah State's 1.5, 61. Georgia State's not a good team. As I discovered looking at their last 5, they gave up 35. They were a Z team their last 6 games. And here you got Utah State who lights it up. Strong over team. So they're only 1.5. Something's wrong there. They're missing that line. So this is where I catch Vegas. Vegas looks at the whole year. And they bring in some bullshit they shouldn't be doing. And I go to the last 5, and I realize the team is much different than the whole year. That's where I get Vegas. They're not smart enough to kind of go, well, how is Georgia State in conference? They don't do that. They look at the whole picture. They don't have time. They take the averages, and that's where we kill them on. Utah and Northwestern. Cam Rising's coming back next year. Hopefully, the doctor will let him play. Well, it's been about 5 years. Yeah, I don't know if you're ready. Sorry. Oh my God. Utah 6.5, 42. I mean, Utah's defense, they'll be playing. I can't imagine. I think Utah wins this game, but we'll see. San Jose State against Coastal Carolina. I know. Whatchamacallit, McCall is transferring, but he was going to do that last year. Does he play? Oh, no, he doesn't play because he's got a concussion, so he's out. San Jose State's a really good team. So here I probably like San Jose State more than the over, but if Coastal Carolina's got a decent quarterback, it's a good over. Texas State Rice, is Rice's quarterback going to play? Or how good's the backup? Texas State's an explosive over team. Rice is an over team with Daniels, but if he doesn't play, how did the backup do the last 3 games? I still think this is an over game, just what we want, the 2 over teams. Kansas and Vegas, I love this game. Kansas 11.5, 64. Vegas is very good. Kansas is very good. We know Kansas is going to run it down their throats with their running back. I like Bean. I don't see him sitting out for the draft. Kansas will light it up here. But I think Vegas will. I think this is an either Kansas lay the 5 or go over 58. This will be a joke. Kansas might hit the 50 by themselves here. We will see. Louisville, USC, what do? We know Caleb's out. Great team player. Yeah, I want to draft that guy. Well, who's the backup? Louisville, we saw with the strong defense. They're not going to struggle against USC like they did against Florida State because USC has no defense. I think Louisville kills them. I think without Caleb, the team, how many other players are going to say, well, fuck, Caleb's not playing. Why should I? And it's not easy to just bring in the backup quarterback. Hey, Todd. Yeah, I don't really look at their conference like that, but I think Rutgers could beat Miami because I think whatchamacallit, Van Dyke, I think, is transferring. So they want the backup has already broke his arm, so they'll be the 3rd string quarterback. They'll just run the ball at Miami, probably a great under. But yeah, I don't look. Tennessee kills Iowa, LSU kills Wisconsin, Auburn, Maryland, Mississippi, Penn State might win against Ole Miss. Ohio State, they're in trouble with. They went from a 7-point favorite to 1.5-point dog. Hey, Bobby Bo. Yeah, I'm back. No, I went to Berlin, and Jenna was meeting her friend Natasha, who lives in Berlin. Like, can you meet us? And I'm like, well, if the plane's $2,000, no. I got a plane ticket for $650 because it was like right after Thanksgiving, right before Christmas, so the prices were nothing. So because it was $650, I said, okay, I'm not working, I'll go. And for such a low price to Europe, I had to go. Although I wish I had gone to Amsterdam, would have been. I was so close. I probably should have, but with Jenna, I couldn't. But who knows about Amsterdam? We'll see. Yeah, I left Monday. I got there Tuesday morning, and then I left. I left Monday at 7:00 Berlin time and got home 2:30 Detroit time, all on Monday. But when you look at it in reality, I left at midnight. No, 1:00 in the morning. I left. So if I'm on Detroit time, I left 1:00 in the morning. Monday morning, got to Frankfurt, left Frankfurt at what would have been 2:00 in the morning and got home at 2:00 in the afternoon. It's a 9 or 10 hour flight. How was it? Good food scenery. Good food scenery. The restaurants were not. Some were good, some were bad. Terrible food there. They don't know how to cook at all. It just fucks your diet up because the buffet's open till 10, so you're waking up when you don't want to wake up. You're waking up to go eat the buffet. Then you come back and go to sleep after it. And you go did some walking and stuff. My back was fine. My feet were fine. But it's just you're eating. So the buffet was, you grab a roll or two. You have a bunch of eggs and bacon. You have a bunch of meat and then some fruit, some watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew type of thing. And then you go back and get some more eggs because it's a buffet and you got to get your money's worth. So I'm eating a lot at 9:30 in the morning, but it's really 3 o'clock in the morning. So I left my clock on Detroit time for two reasons. One, I wanted to keep in case I got calls for jobs or something. And two, so when Daria read the WhatsApp, I wouldn't have to explain why my clock, doesn't say 7 in the morning. It says 4 in the afternoon. So I just kept that as if I was in Detroit. What's the point of telling her I'm in Germany with Jenna? I mean, that makes no sense. Now, I didn't lie to her. I was totally honest. I'm fine. How are you? I'm waking up. I'm doing my class, whatever. So I didn't lie to her, but I didn't tell her I was in Germany. And, but she's waiting for her passport, and I'll probably go to Turkey first week in January. So that'll be a much better vacation, I'm sure. So the food was crap. They didn't have chicken anywhere. The steaks, there was one place we ate at this. She took us to, her friend Natasha took us to this America 60s. So I got sirloin steak there. It was all fatty, a lot of fries. The burgers, okay, but the sauces they used were terrible. The like sauerkraut or whatever it was horrible. It was like, and it smelled bad. The eggs were good. I mean, the buffet was all right. But everything, like at the hotel, I got a hamburger, was 22 euros for just a regular fucking hamburger. The city, where am I going to go? To Hitler's bunker? Or, this is where Hitler drank and played cards. So I have a very bad taste in my mouth for Germany. So what did I want to see there? I don't want to see their history. Yeah, here's why we invaded Czechoslovakia, and here's the gold we stole. I mean, that's the one place that gives me a bad taste in my mouth. So I didn't really do a lot of sights. We went out and saw some Christmas lights and go to some decent hotel or restaurants and walk around. But it's all the same. It's just shops and shops and shops. We went to a nice mall. Okay. Very expensive there. They're going to be in big trouble because it's way expensive. Yeah, from my perspective, I can see the inflation just kicking their ass, and they are clueless. They don't understand it. They're all about to get the shit beat out of them. I, of course, taught some economics to the Uber drivers and the guys at the hotel and Jenna's friends. Do you have gold? So they understand they need it. The problem with Natasha, Jenna's friend, is she doesn't get, I'm poor, I can't buy gold. I want to buy gold. She believes what I'm teaching, but she doesn't have any money for it, which made me, how do I help these people? It's okay to change our money. We got 10 grand. Now I got 5 ounces of gold, but what if you don't have the money? You're going to miss out. I said, well, you better find some money to at least buy some silver, but whatever you can do, you've got to buy gold because your money's worthless. So they're all going to get fucked there. Well, I think some of them do. This other friend I met yesterday, Anastasia's from Odessa. It was the strangest thing. She was with this guy who had to be 50 years old. She's like one of these little 22-year-old hotties from Odessa. And it's just like, what the fuck is this guy doing with her? It was like her father. I mean, but they were dating. I was like, wow. She had gold. She says, now in your case, Bobby, where she bought a house, but there's no insurance, and the Russians bombed her house and destroyed her house and her car. She's like, I had it, I can't get it, but I own gold. And I said, that's why you can't do anything. I go, where do you have it? Hopefully you don't have it in a bank. She says, no, it's in my house. I said, good. Don't leave it in a bank in a security box or anything. So she got it. She knew, yes, gold. She said, a lot of my friends are into gold. Very good. She says, when I saw your picture, I thought you were a teacher. And I says, well, exactly. I do financial analysis, but basically I do teach. So she had me pegged. But I laughed when I saw the guy with her. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But anyway, she asked me how much money I had at dinner yesterday. How much money do you have? You must have a lot of money. I said, I don't have any money. I only have gold and silver. I don't have any, I got a little bit of cash, but I said, I got nothing in the bank, and it's all gold and silver. But I love the typical Ukrainian Odessa girl going, well, how much money? Oh, you got more money than my boyfriend. I'm leaving him. I'll be right over. I couldn't believe that question. But the food's very expensive there. The cabs are very expensive there. I used Uber, which I would recommend, but even those, it's a $20 Uber ride here and there. It's a big city, probably a lot like New York, but it's stores everywhere. So if you're walking, it's stores, restaurants, stores. That's all of Europe. It's a bunch of stores, a bunch of restaurants. If you close your eyes, you wouldn't know what country. If you close your eyes and I put you on the street, you couldn't tell me you're in Amsterdam, Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal. You'd have no idea. It's all the same. But anyway, yeah, so I had a Monday evening flight, and I get there Tuesday morning, which was fine. And then I had a 7 o'clock flight out of Berlin to Frankfurt, and 11 o'clock Frankfurt to that. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. If you are traveling, especially overseas, and you have your ticket, go to the ticket counter. And I said, my back bothers me. Can I get a row where nobody's going to bother me? She says, yeah. And she switched me for no cost I said, how full is the plane? And these planes now they're like half full. So she switched me to a closer seat, and I had the whole row, and I was able to lay down and sleep half the flight. So understand that. Go to the gate. I'm in 42A, probably a window seat, but I need to stretch, and I don't need anybody in both ways, international. I was able to not have anybody sitting next to me. So keep that in mind. They will do that for you. Just say, I got a bad back. And oh yeah, I can do that for you. And it was perfect. And no cost at all. So going Lufthansa, they serve you, but it's even the service on the planes getting a little weaker, what they serve you, but who cares? But yeah, some of the food tastes, whatever the fuck they put on their hot dogs and their hamburgers. Oh my God, just get it plain. I did find a Chinese restaurant. I got something. It didn't say General Chow on the menu. I got some chicken dish, and it was okay. I mean, for Chinese Germany, it wasn't here, but it was okay. So yeah, I mean, it was okay. I'm more looking forward to being with Daria in Turkey beginning of January. I think that'll be a better trip. Jenna, I think I've seen enough. I mean, it's like, okay, whatever. So being stoic and being stoic, people don't take that some shit. And Jenna gives me some shit like, oh, your shirt has a stain. You didn't. She says to me, I have the Polo Blue bottle cologne. And she says, you didn't put it on. And she's like all upset. Oh, you didn't put the Polo. I can't smell you. I like the smell of it. And I'm looking at her like she's out of her fucking mind. I'm like, okay, I'll put it on later. Like, why is this an issue? And so I'm getting kind of like, stoic people don't take that shit. So I was like, I'm not taking that shit from you. Anyway. So let's get back to the Bulls. So we're at Louisville, USC. I think Louisville handles them. They're less likely to sit out defensive stars, maybe one or two. USC sitting out Caleb, who's their backup. It's going to be trouble. A&M, Oak State. we got Oliver, our big Ellie Young or whatever his name is, the running back. Will he sit out? I don't know. I don't think he should. I think he should show it. A&M, the coaching differences. I like Oak State as the dog here or over 53. Oak State will score a ton. They're more of an over team. Kansas State, NC State should be a good one. Will Howard, the quarterback, is Trent. What are these guys? They're like 6 years in college now. What the? Well, he's going as a graduate. All this NIL money, I think, is keeping him in college a year longer because they can make it. And in the pros, I mean, you can see what's happening. So I like Kansas State there. Arizona, Oklahoma. Gabriel's transferring to Oregon. Is he going to play? If he doesn't play, I love Arizona. I might love Arizona anyway, but if Gabriel plays, they're a live dog. If he doesn't play, then I think it's an under because Arizona's got a real strong defense. Iowa State, Memphis. Iowa State been playing well. Their quarterbacks are freshmen. He's playing. Rocco Brecht, and then they have the good defense. So I like Iowa State there. Ohio State, Missouri. So the quarterback, what's transferring? Maserati, Marvin probably won't be playing. Missouri's laying 1.5, 48. I like Missouri. They're a very strong team. They almost beat Georgia, so I give them a lot of credit there. Bobby Bow. Well, I think some of them buy medals there. Those smart ones do. Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. Oh, okay. What's that? What's the Heisman again? You better play in the bowl game, though, because I want to bet LSU. I would bet he would. He's already won the Heisman. He should, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. So you think Gabriel will be a good fit for the Ducks next season? I think he will be because Bo Nix. The question is, why is he leaving Oklahoma? I get Oregon's offering him NIL money, but can't Oklahoma counter the money? You're going to give him, and how much money are we talking here? Why is it more than $10,000? That's supposed to be for a likeness on a shirt that somebody buys. You get $5 of it. It's not supposed to be to pay the guy $500,000 to come to your school. What is that? That's a bunch of bullshit. So I don't know. I think he will. He's a good quarterback. Why isn't he just going in the pros? I don't understand what he's waiting for. So you'll have him and Rising next year, and we'll see about these others, McCall and some of these other quarterbacks. But I'll tell you, Aguilar is the App State coach. He's very good. Same with James Madison's quarterback. They're not that bad when you look at it. They're much better than Louisville's quarterback. So I like Missouri over Ohio State, especially without the quarterback. Harrison probably won't play. I don't see why he would. Missouri, all their guys will be happy to play. Even this Cook on Missouri is a good quarterback. Mississippi, Penn State. I don't know how good either of these teams are. Penn State, they usually do well in bowl games, although their big defensive stud's going to sit out. Missouri, I don't know if their quarterback plays or not. Auburn, Maryland. Auburn beat Alabama. Again, the terrible no call on the offensive pass interference call. That would have been really weird. Then does Georgia get in if Auburn would have just finished the deal? Hard to say. Georgia, Florida State, 14-45. I got to love the under here. Florida State, no quarterback, great defense. Georgia, decent quarterback who's not going to do a whole lot against this defense. And I think both teams have something to prove because they're both fucked. Why isn't there an 18 playoff this year? You got Georgia, Florida State sitting there, and you got Oregon, Ohio State sitting there. Instead of making an 18 playoff of what you should be doing, you're sticking with this 4-team, and the best 2 teams, Georgia and Oregon, aren't even in it, and Florida State, basically. This is a shame, but I think it's an under. Travis is already out, so you got the third stringer for Florida State. Give them 6 points in the game, and then Georgia, I think they're going to play, and their defense will just swallow up. Florida State won't, They get 7. Georgia gets 30. I mean, I don't think they score a lot on Florida State either with this defense. And this 45 under 51 in this game is gold. I would think. LSU 10-55 to Wisconsin. LSU will blow them out if Daniels plays, as Bobby said. If he doesn't play, then you go to an under because Wisconsin's good defense and they can't score. Liberty and Oregon is a very interesting game. Liberty is very explosive. Oregon, we know, is very explosive with a good defense. Does Bo Nix play? If Bo Nix doesn't play, then you kind of don't know what to do. I guess it's an under because Oregon's going to stop them but can't score, and Liberty, even though they can score, they're out of the class. If Oregon wants to, they'll shut them out. So we'll see if Bo Nix plays. Alabama, Michigan, as I just said. How is Alabama the dog in this game? I just have no idea. This is the steal of the century here. Alabama plus points against Michigan. Really? Okay, I live in Michigan. They're not that good. Okay, they beat Ohio State, who is not that good this year. That's it. They played one team and beat it. The rest of their schedule sucked. I don't consider them winning at Penn State a big deal. They ran it down their throat. Penn State couldn't stop them. You're not going to do that against them. If they try this running the ball down Alabama's throat, it'll be 3 and punt, 3 and punt, 3 and punt the whole game. And they're not going to stop Milrose. And then we got Texas, Washington. Texas 4.5, 63 to Washington and Penix. This is the over of life. 63 down to 57 is a 30 to 27 game. This game goes way over that. This will be a 70. This will be 44-42, a regular playoff game because you get scared. You don't have enough points. You score more and more. And as long as both teams score, and that's what will happen here, you're not going to shut down Washington. Oregon couldn't do it. And you're not going to shut down Texas. Oklahoma couldn't do it. And Alabama couldn't do it. Look for this to be a very high-scoring game. So New Year's Day, it'll be Alabama with the Texas-Washington over, I think, is the way to play the playoff game. And then this will be interesting if it's Alabama-Texas again. That will be interesting. Georgia Tech UCF is on the 23rd. It was like these games weren't on the list, and they must have got added. So this is a very strong over game. Georgia Tech just lights it up, no defense. UCF lights it up, no defense. I don't think these aren't the quarterbacks that are going to sit out for the draft. Troy and Duke, very interesting game. I love Troy. Duke, Riley Leonard's out. He's transferring, apparently. I don't know if he can walk, but he's going to transfer. Strong defense with Duke. Troy's an A team, strong defense, over under 44.5. This doesn't get anywhere near that. This is definitely an under. However, I also like Troy -1. I think I like the under more. VTech and Tulane, very good game. Tulane, we know, is an A team. VTech, much stronger this year. I think Tulane's a live dog here because I think a team like Tulane wants to prove, hey, we belong, and Virginia Tech's not that strong to blow them out. North Carolina, West Virginia, this is a joke of the bowl. West Virginia 3.5, 56. Is Drake May going to play? If Drake May ain't going to play, I'm loading up on West Virginia. If he is playing, I'm loading up on the over, 56. And who is Drake May to sit out? I saw a comparison. Would you rather draft Caleb or Drake May? I'm like, Drake May? So I went into the stats. He's like the 25th rated quarterback as far as like he had 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. I'm like, Hartman or Bo Nix or Caleb or not Caleb, but Penix, Drake May. Where the fuck are they getting that from? Yeah, this is the problem. Let's draft Daniel Jones. Let's draft Trubisky because they went to the Peyton Manning camp and look how good they are. And this is the problem with the league is you get these shitty quarterbacks. Why would you draft Drake? I wouldn't draft Drake May for all the tea in China. I'd be all over Penix and Bo Nix and Hartman. I'd be all over Hartman. They won't talk about him. Anyway, SMU 10.5 over BC all day to SMU. Well, we got to be careful because Preston Stone, the quarterback, I think he broke his leg. I doubt he's going to play. I don't think it can heal that quickly. So it almost makes it a good under because, as we pointed out, SMU against Tulane, and the game was an under, and they won. So I think they just play strong defense. And Notre Dame, 8.5, 44 to Oregon State, and Uglia Buglia. Uglia Buglia is looking to transfer. I love it. Like, he sucks. He goes to Oregon State, and he sucked there. He had a few good games, and then against the big boys, he didn't show up. Look at the last game against Oregon. They got 6 points. Notre Dame with Hartman, is he going to play? So this is where Bobby's saying, if Hartman's playing, I love Notre Dame, but and the running back, are they playing? And this is where it's all fucked up, is you don't know what you got. Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. So you think Gabriel will be a good fit for the Ducks? Yeah, I think he will be. Yeah, Georgia should beat the shit out of them. And they won't really be sitting anybody out because their quarterbacks are freshmen. He's got no reason to sit. He ain't transferring. Their defense should get healthier. We saw Brock Bowers play. So, but Florida State, they're going to say, if we can beat Georgia, then we should have been in the play. Although I don't know what it means because they're not in it. But, yeah, I think Georgia's really is a joke not being in the playoff. Drake May is a joke. Yeah, Bobby, I agree. I don't like that kid at all. I don't get why that you would compare him with Caleb. Caleb's up here and Drake May's down there. Bo Nix, Hartman, Penix, Gabriel. Yeah, I can get, but not Drake May, really? Bogala visiting Florida State. Oh, Bolaga. Who? Who's Bolagaya? I assume it's some quarterback, Todd, but who is Balugala? Oh, Uglia Buglia? Let him go to Florida State. He was so good at Clemson that they lost and they sucked. And then, yeah, Uglia, well, maybe because he can run a little bit. Yeah, he's terrible. Drake May shows me nothing. I'd rather have Will Howard from Kansas State or the kid from Texas, the kid from Oklahoma, not the Oklahoma State kid. It's funny. Somebody said, I picked on the Oklahoma State quarterback Bowman, and somebody like defended him. Oh no, Bowman's really good. And, he threw 10 touchdowns and 10 picks, and basically it was Ali, whatever Ali's last name is, who would run for 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns. That's the reason Oak State's good, is the running backs, and he's like Thurman Thomas. I don't. Yeah. Do you think Mitch Trubisky could start for like Oregon or Washington? I doubt it. So that's the Bulls. I've got to update everything, and again, these lines are a week old. And again, so it's even if you're in the transfer portal, are you playing or not? What does that mean? So if Gabriel's transferring from Oklahoma to Oregon, is he playing or is he not playing? Is Bo Nix and Penix playing? Well, Penix, yes. That's why I like the 12 team. At least we'll have 6 clean games where we don't have to worry about the guys going in the NFL. I got to get ready for the draft. Meaning I'm a pussy and I don't want to get hurt. I might get hurt in the bowl game and then I wouldn't be able to make money in the pros. Like, well, you could have got. Look at Hooker from Tennessee. He got hurt in the Florida game. So what? He got hurt. Well, should he not have played? And then look at the NFL. Should Herbert have not have played? Herbert should have got ready for the for the playoffs and not played last week because he got hurt. Oh my God. It's like, guys, you're playing football, you're going to get hurt. So either don't play or don't cry about it, but you shouldn't be sitting out these bowl games. Again, it makes you look terrible. McCaffrey's the only one I see, and the kid from LSU, the running back, who was on Tampa the last few years. The only two that really did okay sitting out the bowl games. McCaffrey's looked pretty good. And Leonard Fournette from LSU, okay. The rest of these clowns, oh, yeah, Daniel Jones sat out. Look how good he is. I think it's a joke. I think you're letting your team down, and it shows you don't have passion for the game. Why the fuck would I draft you? I wouldn't draft anybody that sat out. I don't. They're not real players. They don't want to play. You let your team down. These scouts are clowns. They can't evaluate talent. Well, if they go to the Peyton Manning camp, that's all they need. He went to the Peyton Manning camp, and that was good enough to draft Daniel Jones, who's absolutely the biggest joke I've ever seen. He runs all the time, and he gets hurt, and he breaks his leg or whatever. What good is the quarterback? He'll be out for 2 years. That reminds me, I want to share a little situation I got going on after this past weekend. Hey, go ahead, Bob. The floor is yours. I'll talk until you type. So I think you have a better chance, like maybe the Cal Texas Tech game, that there's nobody sitting out, or your Utah Northwestern, or your Bowling Green, Minnesota. Even the Minnesota quarterback's transferring. I can't believe it. He sucks. Texas State and Rice, you're probably going to get everybody to play and want to win. But when you get to Wisconsin LSU, is Daniels going to play? And you might not know till the game of. And really, you've got to watch the line. If it goes from 10-6, he's not. But if he doesn't, then you jump on the over-under is 55. If Daniels doesn't play, then it's a lock under, because he's the reason they're an over team. Although they do have a weak defense, but Wisconsin doesn't have. Mordecai's okay, but they're not going to do anything. Same thing with Liberty, Oregon. Nobody on Liberty is going to sit out, but Bo Nix. And, again, why is Oregon not? And see, this is what will be solved next year. Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, Florida State will all be in the playoff. So all their guys will be playing. And I would assume LSU and maybe, I don't know. Notre Dame should have been in it. Their coach sucks. So keep in mind, if Notre Dame couldn't win with Hartman, they ain't going to win. So keep that in mind. And, that's what you want to take out of. But we want to bet the defense. The defense probably, I think some guy from A&M is not going to the portal. So you get a defense like Florida State. I don't see anybody on their team, maybe one guy, but it doesn't matter. Defense is more of a team concept, and they rotate players in and out. So one guy sitting out, I don't think is a big deal. But like Florida State should play an under, and Georgia should have all their defensive players in. Does Brock Bowers sit out? I don't know, maybe, but I don't think so. It's too much of a team, Georgia. They want to beat the hell out of you. So I don't think he will. Like Troy Duke. None of the Troy players are going to sit out. I'd be shocked, unless it's the transfer portal, and then do all those guys not play for their team and then transfer when the game's over. I don't know. Like Van Dyke is transferring. Is he going to play against Rutgers, or he doesn't because he's transferring? Well, I thought Bobby said to LSU or something. I'm like, okay, I can't wait for Bobby's little situation. All right, Bobby, whenever you're ready, shoot. So that's your bowl games. Again, try to find the defenses to bet on, and like Cal with the good running back. Hopefully he plays. Cal's been just scoring, very good offense. Arizona's been playing well. They got Oklahoma, but if Gabriel doesn't play, it's all Arizona. like an Iowa State, Missouri. These teams are going to want to win. So that's what we've got there. Go Army, beat Navy. That felt good. That 28-point game, and that was high scoring. I was surprised Navy scored. All right, so we've gone through that. All right, so I wrote in my little title, Europe is supposed to be getting a gold-back euro, which will save them. In the U.S., we don't have gold. Do a gold-back. So what is a gold-back euro? So let's say this is worth $5. But it says, it's worth $5 gold. You can get $5 of gold for it, which means you have to have gold. So I should be able to go to the bank and say, give me the $5 in gold. And they should open up their drawer and give me whatever is worth $5 gold. That's the idea of a gold system, is the money's backed by gold. So you go to a bank and they have a bunch of gold, and then they give you give them the dollar, they give you the gold. That's the idea, and that's the confidence. You know they can't inflate gold the way they inflate the money. So really, the inflation is you're printing. It's a oversupply. You're inflating the supply of dollars. That's why all the dollars are going out. You can't inflate gold except for paper gold. You can print a lot more derivatives than you have, and that's what that's how they inflate gold, is with this whole derivative bullshit. And what the fuck? There was one thing I was watching. I got to watch a little bit more on. So this is a very old one. I don't see it. It was the difference between. Oh wait, here it is. So it's this one here. MMT versus Austrian. And if you ever want to know what MMT is, modern monetary theory, it's just basically Keynesian. It's basically the government prints the money. The guy kept trying to say, well, it's the difference between micro and macro, it's the difference between a fixed currency and a floating exchange rate versus a fixed exchange. It's got nothing to do with it. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but there was a point in it, he's talking about gold, that the Federal Reserve price fixes gold or something like that, which is what's been happening, which is why we need BRICS to come in and save the day by needing the gold price higher. But I'll rewatch that. But it's MMT versus that. But it's a long time ago. It's like 10. Let's see. Yeah, it's 10 years ago. So I don't know how it's not. But basically, MMT is communism. It's Keynesian. It's just disguising it, but it's all bad. It's all communist. It's all government control. And the biggest thing about Austrian is it's free market. We control it, which is the best way to do it. All right, we're gonna go into the Bobby Bow story of the weekend. Bobby Bow. I have a young nephew, that plays high school basketball and is very talented, but his coach sucks. Who's his coach? The Lion coach? To make a long story short, his coach got mad at Bobby Bo. Did you lay the people's elbow on him? Get him in a figure four or something, Bobby? When he overheard me telling my brother that these coaches are a joke and yelled across the court, "Shut up," to Bobby Bo, and I replied by telling him to shut up and watch who he's talking to. Bobby, you got to be stoic. You don't talk to losers and idiots, right? Stoic means we're better than them. We're in control. We don't make those things. So we want to just say, so is this the best you can do? Like what you should do is go stoically is go. So you wait a minute and then you respond going, so this is the best you can do as coach, basketball. Something like you make fun of them, but you're serious about it. And he shouldn't tell Bobby Bo to shut up. Watch who he's talking to. It was kind of a joke for us two grown men to go back and forth like that, to be honest, but I had to stand my ground. Well, sometimes you just, like I said, you kind of laugh at him. Now he's overhearing you, so you're not even talking to him. You're talking to your brother. Why is he getting upset that you're saying that? He should reflect going, well, why does Bobby Bo think I'm a bad? That's how a stoic would do it. So if I'm coaching and I overhear you saying it, I got to be stoic and going, well, why does Bobby Bo think that? What am I doing wrong that Bobby Bo thinks I'm a bad coach? Then lay the smack down on him and put him in a figure four. Back to the second game this week. Okay, I went back to the second game this week, and I didn't say much, but just telling kids to look around, pass, etc. Are you like an assistant coach, or you just standing there? Okay. And at the end of the game, one of the 14-year-old kids was crying, and they randomly blamed me, saying I made him cry just because I was saying things such as, pass, you only got 10 seconds. Are you a coach, or is it you're just you're watching your kid and you're trying to, because you're getting involved, which is always scary with these young kids. Now they told my brother that Bobby Bo can't come back in his band, and I am not happy that as my nephew looks up to Bobby Bo, and I don't want to miss it. Yeah, why should you be expelled? But I'd warn you, because I would do this when I coached my girls' fast pitch teams. It was the same thing. You get very emotional. I got more emotional on girls softball and girls fast pitch than I did boys little league. I thought it was a much better game. But yeah, you got to be a little more stoic, Bobby Bo. You got to be, in other words, you got to be better than them. You're up here, they're down here. Don't go down there. Stoic would, you'd take the kid aside and you'd go, like the kid's crying, I'd go, why are you crying? And why would you be banned? I mean, that's just so you need to watch Mission Impossible and get one of those masks and come as Tom Cruise or something. That's ridiculous. Again, you're dealing with idiots. It's the same argument we have about gold with people that don't understand it. You can call them idiots for not buying the gold, but at the same point, you just say, fuck it, I'm not going to bring it up anymore. And as my friend Julia says at Swim, don't worry about it. It's more gold for us because we know it's running out. So it's more gold for us. If they're not buying it, that means we get to buy it. So kind of look at it like that. The kid was crying and yelling, telling me to shut up for no reason because he's a crybaby, right? His parents probably kiss his ass, as most parents do, and it's just ridiculous. One of my girls were with me and even laughed, saying, "Is he telling you to shut up? You should have her, get him in a chokehold or something." let her throw the elbow down on him a few times. It's so stupid. It's not worth. What are you going to do? You can't worry about it. It's the way the kids are now. They're spoiled. They're brats. They don't respect elders. He should be happy you came to watch, not that you're trying to give him advice and he gets mad that you told me to pass. And, so you got to learn when you get into these is you only watch your son or your nephew or your daughter. That's all you watch. You can't say anything to anybody else unless you're the coach. And that's why I didn't really want to coach my girls' fast pitch teams, but I knew so much more about baseball than everybody else. And so I could teach them how to do a lot of stuff. But I just sat there and I watched the other coaches and it was just shake my head like, are you kidding me? Yeah, it reminds me that so many people are sensitive these days. This is the problem with the world. This is communism. This is the Keynesians. MMT. All this is sensitive. Like, look at the football. Well, you can't touch the quarterback, and I'm going to sit out and get ready for the draft. I don't want to get hurt. That's where it's all coming from. I never heard that before, right? In the 60s and the 70s, you got in a bowl game, you were happy as hell to be in the bowl game representing yourself and your family and your college. Never, Herschel Walker never sat out, or Dan Marino. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? These guys are sitting out, or this whole transfer portal thing. That's one thing I am is loyal when I go to work. I don't, if I go to work and you hire me and you're honest with me, I won't leave for another job. But if you fuck around with me, I will. But that's what I don't see. Why is Gabriel leaving Oklahoma for Oregon? What the fuck is that all about? Why did he leave UCF for Oklahoma? I don't get that either. But yeah, I mean this is why it's so hard. Even when I go to the pool, I gotta watch myself. I'm okay on the airplane today. So the girl gives me, she says, you'll be fine in this row of 4, like 19G. You'll have the whole row to yourself. You can lay down, rest your back. So some lady who's not even in the seat sits in the seat and puts her purse down. I go, no, this is my row. And she didn't listen. She got all mad at me and I stayed stoic on her. So I'm like, no, they gave me the row. She said, did you pay for all 4 seats? I said, I was given this row for my back that all 4 seats would be empty. I know your ticket is not in this seat because the girl guaranteed me I won't have any problems. And the lady started talking to the stewardesses, and they moved her. They did not move me. They moved her to a different row. Like, she wanted to start laying down. I go, no, this is my seat. And then she starts talking to me. I'm ignoring her. I'm like, no. I'm not going to play it. I'm playing my game, not your game. And I didn't, but basically I was right. They gave me the row so I could lay down so my back wouldn't bother me. And that's why I heavily advise you, if you're going on long trips, probably more to Europe or Asia, but to ask, my back hurts. Is the plane 100% full, which now it's not anymore. I mean, maybe Christmas it might be, but not middle of December. It's $600 to fly to Europe. It's not full. Yeah, I'll see what happens, but I am be more stoic with my family going forward. I'll be more stoic with my family going forward if they let me get banned. Well, keep in mind, stoic means we're better than them. We're smarter than them. We keep our composure. We know we're right, but we don't let little shit like this bother us. That's stoic, right? And Marcus Aurelius. But we know we're right, but we just sit there and, like, if anybody challenges me on gold, I know I'm right. I know the price will go up. I don't worry about it. I don't make any pretensions. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm giving you facts. I know it'll go up because it's price fixed. I know the price fix will end because of BRICS and Russia and the demand for gold. So I know it. So I'm very stoic in gold. You never heard me change my mind. And once the dollar collapses, we'll be on the gold back system. And I bring up Titanic. I'm very stoic in it. I don't get too emotional unless you start picking on my girls or something. But, once in a while, but usually I try to remain calm and smart, and I know what I'm talking. I don't talk too much about things I don't know. Like I'll bring up the doctor with the health because I watched the video, but I show you the video. Like he's the doctor. I'm telling you what I heard from the doctor, right? As a former athlete, I relate to him, and he's mentioned several times to my brother that he values my advice, and now I am banned for such petty horseshit. So time to be stoic. You just got to be stoic all the time. You gotta. Okay, they want my advice. Just give them the advice. And if it's talking to the kids or talking to the coach, I don't know how it was set up, but I would just talk to the coach, say, maybe do this or that. You're probably going to be better in girls fast pitch or little league or pony coal as a coach because you're a baseball player and you could teach them how to hit. Nobody can fuck with you there. And if the kids start crying there, just body slam them, just throw them out of the ring. There's definitely right. Well, you almost got to learn who you can talk to and who you can't. And I find that with the lifeguards, there's some lifeguards I can talk to and some I just leave alone. So to like my Toyota job in Alabama, there was a lot of people I could be friendly to. And then that one girl I couldn't be friendly. She was the strangest personality I've ever seen. So you've got to eyeball the people, even though they're 14 years old, and you've got to know how can I talk to them. Vince Lombardi did that. He said he knew he could tell certain players, talk to him one way, and then like Bart Starr, he couldn't. Like Bart said, look, you can yell at me, but yell at me in private. If I'm the leader of your team, you can't yell at me in front of the team. So he never did. So if he had a problem with Bart Starr, he would talk to Bart in his office. And so you've got to understand the kids and know many different personalities. So you've got to analyze the personality of the kid. How strong can I get them? And you really got to be careful yelling at the kids. I don't know if you yelled at them. I don't think you did, but how you talk to them. And then they all learn differently. That was the biggest thing I learned in girls fast pitch, or even with my younger one in the slow pitch, how to hit, how to throw, and how to field. You can talk to 10 girls and they got 10 different learning ways. So some are watching you, some are listening, and you got to figure out how does the person learn and how do I talk to the person. I find if you're just calm and especially with kids, then you'll be fine. Speaking of horseshit, that guy Tony has costed my boy Mahomes another loss and lost money. Bobby, the fucking lock was, I told you, was Buffalo. I can't believe you bet Kansas City. You got to listen to the professor if I'm giving you a game. I thought I went over that Friday or Saturday from Berlin, or Thursday or Friday. Who the hell knows? I thought I went through the pros, but maybe I was waiting on that. But I thought I gave you Buffalo. You either go with the professor or you don't bet the game. But I know you like Mahomes, but they suck right now. They don't have an offense. Pacheco was out. Not the time to bet KC. I'm still not sold on this week. KC, they're at New England laying 9. Don't be careful on betting that one. I think it's an under because I think Kansas City is a good defense and no offense, even though they have Mahomes. The great Andy Reid can't figure it out because he's got shit for wide receivers. What the fuck is he doing? They need to watch that one movie from back in the day with Tom Hanks where he says, There's no crying. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's. Does he get banned too? But yeah, that's the women's league. Um, but yeah, you just people are weird now. People are. It's more social. This is socialism, right? Which is touchy feely and oh, he said that, or it's all sexual. He looked at me. He must want to have sex with me. Well, like that girl in Alabama. If Cincinnati, if I win the bet on Cincinnati in the Super Bowl, I'll give you $100. How she turned that into sex, I have no idea. It was never brought up. But look where her mind is. Well, obviously, she's a prostitute because if somebody offers her $100, she immediately runs to sex, even though it was never brought up or never said, "Look, if they win, I'll give you $100 and we'll go fuck." That was never. I never brought it up. I was talking to her for 3 months or trying to. Um, Totally clueless girl. If she didn't know I liked her, she's got to be out of her fucking mind because you read the eyes. If somebody loves you in bright eyes and the way I talked to her, if she didn't understand that, what is she like 5 years old? I mean, this was what a 25-year-old HR girl came from Cincinnati to fucking Alabama, which I don't know why you do that, but I mean, she must be 5 years old. Psychology wise, what an idiot. Yeah, I remember that Alabama story. Yeah, I mean, but that's the same thing. Oh, he's going to give me 100. He must want sex. And HR talked to me about that, and I laughed my ass off. Again, it was like, what are you talking about? I never said sex. Well, normally we don't give out money. It was a bet if Cincinnati with the Super Bowl. She's from Cincinnati. Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? And see, they didn't like me because I wouldn't listen to the Japanese bullshit because the Japanese tried to control the Americans. And since I was on a relocation where they paid for me to move down to Alabama, I was stuck there for 2 years. And so the way I played it was all this bullshit. And then they let me go. And then I didn't have to pay back the $7,000 of moving. So I was like, oh, okay, my plan worked. Because I don't worry about getting another job. I know I'm going to get one because I have the skill set for it. And I interview extremely well. So I didn't really worry about it. And I got another job, in 2 months or whatever. But that's how it is. But the girl in Alabama, did she really not think I liked her? Yeah, she never came to me and said, I'm married, we can talk. You just start talking to a girl and they start thinking you want to have sex with them. I didn't mention that. I'm a big boy. If I want to have sex with you and say, hey, would you like to have sex? Not if I'm just saying, hi, how are you? So if I say hi to somebody, it means I want to have sex with them. What is going on with this crazy world? It's insane. I'm just a friendly person. Even Jenna caught me WhatsApping Daria. She says, oh, I see you with the hearts and I love you. And I said, yeah, that's my friend. Like, so what? I have a lot of friends. Oh, you're with a lot of other girls. I said, no, she's my friend. And I've never even met her. I'm going to meet her, but that's none of your business. Your business is how we are. And I'm here with you in Berlin. And the fact, why are you looking at my WhatsApp? And then if you're going to look at it and see that, why are you going to react to it? What did you think you were going to, it was like so stupid. And that's really the point of it. It just doesn't make any sense with that. I better take a picture for Daria. That was the only problem on the plane today. Since I didn't have internet, I was really stuck with Daria not being able to Tuesday. Oh, my time's right anyway. 7:34. Yeah. So I couldn't text her today when I normally would, but I was like waiting till like my 8 o'clock when I get up, and I'd say, "Hey, good morning, how are you?" And I didn't look at it as lying. She didn't say, are you out of town?" I didn't lie about that. She never asked me. I just didn't present it. But so I thought that was okay. But what am I going to do? I don't want to get into it. I don't want to lose Daria because I'm with Jenna. So if she doesn't know, she doesn't know. So anyway, Tuesday. My phone's fucked up because it says Tuesday. But it's really not Tuesday. It's still Monday. Okay. Well, look at the questions there. All right, Bobby Bo. Even though KC is struggling, I think they can still make the Super Bowl this year because now everyone is picking the Ravens. But Lamar will. I think that's where I think Denver has the best coach and Russell Wilson, and I think Denver can beat Baltimore, and they already beat Kansas City pretty bad. San Diego's out of it. Cincinnati doesn't have Burrow. Pittsburgh's nothing. And then Miami can't handle Denver. That'll be a sweet revenge game. Or Buffalo, which Denver's already beat Buffalo, I believe. So I think it's Denver in the Super Bowl against the Niners would be a good game. Yeah, a lot of these people are like that. All sensitive and their damn feelings all the time. Well, what do you see? Oh, you just pitched a no-hitter. How do you feel about that? What kind of question is that? You'll see it all the time in these. I bet they asked Daniels, how does it feel winning the Heisman Trophy? And that's all these questions. How does it feel? Well, I feel pretty good. What answer were you trying to get out of me? Of course I feel good. Like, oh, you just had sex with that hot girl. How does that feel? You just had sex with that hot girl. How the fuck do you think it feels? What are you kidding me? The worst is when I see people I know writing out all their problems on Facebook and looking for sympathy. It's pretty pathetic and annoying. That's why I'm not on Facebook. Being stoic, I don't want everybody. That's why I didn't say I was in Berlin until now. I didn't want people. There's two reasons. I didn't want people to know where I was. But I didn't want people to realize I wasn't home. A little worried about Kenzie's group. Oh, he's not home. We can go rob him. So I was a little worried about that too, because I can't really know who the fuck Kenzie is. She keeps asking for money, and I keep saying, I don't know who it is. I'm not giving money to a stranger. She says, well, pay, and then I'll do it. I'm like, Kenzie, enough. I don't give a fuck. I don't believe you're real. And if you were, you'd come over. And since you don't, then there's no big deal. By the way, I saw some of the playback from the other day when you were in Berlin and laughed at the part when you said, no, Greg, I'm not in Russia. I thought to myself, here goes Greg of vampiring. Well, first of all, I couldn't go to Russia if I wanted. If you'd listen to what I say, you cannot get a visa from America to go to Russia. That's why I'm meeting Daria in Turkey in January, because I can't get a visa and no plane will fly you from the U.S. You could go U.S. to Turkey. This is what Daria's mom did. U.S. to Turkey, Turkey to Russia. But she's got a Russian passport. She's a Russian citizen. I cannot get a Russian visa because they won't allow it, nor can I fly in there. That's why we're meeting in Turkey. It's one place I can fly to that she can fly to. She can't meet in Germany or Austria or Switzerland, or we would meet there. But she can't. The Russians are banned in Europe with the stupid fake war. So he's saying that, and I'm like, I don't want this out. Why would you say that? So Greg, again, yeah, he's vampire. He's just clueless. It's really hard to understand him. I'm gonna test my. Yeah, see it says Tuesday, but but it's Monday night. It's 7:39. So I don't know why I got to reset. I don't know. I got to reset. Well, I'll reset it in the morning, but it shouldn't say Tuesday because it's Monday night, clearly, but it's still on kind of Berlin time. No, it wouldn't be Tuesday. Yeah, it would be Tuesday. It's Tuesday in Berlin. So my phone's still on Berlin time, even though I have it set for Michigan time. So I got to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, this is where I have a problem staying stoic with Greg John with his like, oh yeah, well, have a nice time overseas. You don't know where I am, number one. This is not the platform to be talking to me about that. If I'm saying I'll tell you where I am when I get back. If I wanted to let you know, I would have done it, but I don't want you to say, have a nice time overseas. What the fuck is that? Like, he doesn't get the whole point. And I'm like, dude, you shouldn't be saying that. I'm ready to, I can't delete the comment without deleting him, but I don't, you know, oh, you got gold in your safe in your house. Oh, in the freezer. Oh, okay. I mean, don't bring that up. It's one thing if I say it because you don't see it, but if you start typing it, then everybody sees the type, and then it's ridiculous. Yeah, but Greg has got a serious vampiring. He doesn't know what to say, but he wants to say something, but it's totally irrelevant. I think earlier he said something, but it's totally irrelevant. But you don't do that. You say, "Oh, I was at the basketball game or whatever," which is good things. Or we talk football, but he doesn't. He doesn't get it. Oh yeah, gold's going to go up. Yeah, well we know that. Oh, actually, I haven't seen the gold price today. I'm sure it's not anywhere. Let's see. It's funny there. Everything's in like euros and grams and everything. It's not in. It's not in dollars as we're used to seeing it. Gold's at 1999.90, up 6, so it's dropped. Well, here's what is this? Wow, it's down $42 today. Is that today? 1985. This doesn't make sense. So I got 2000 here, and now it's 1985. Now again, this is the derivative market, right? But see, here's the problem. This is the derivative market, but people look at it going, "Oh, gold fluctuates. Gold goes down." They don't. I told the friend, I said, if you want to be smart, this is how Stoics do it. They ask the question, why is gold down $40 today? See, that's the point that you need to understand. If you're Stoic, you don't just see the price down $40. You ask, why is it down $40? Which would lead you down the path of it's Stoic. It's not the physical price going down. It's the paper price being inflated on purpose by JP Morgan to keep the gold price down intentionally. And that's not the real gold price. This is the paper inflated price, not the physical uninflated price. And that's what I left. I left that question with Mark McGuire. So let me show you what I did with Mark. Look at silver, 22.84. This is why people don't buy it. They see 22.84 and they go, "Oh, I guess I'm not going to buy it." So let me show you some comments.
yes, there can be and there are self-imposed constraints on spending put there by the Congress. Dot, dot, dot. These include debt ceiling rules, Treasury overdraft rules, and restrictions of the Fed buying securities from the Treasury. So, and then I just want you to clarify. It seems to me that strictly speaking,
yes, I didn't do it here.
You're saying,
All right, just a second. Let me. All right, this is Mark McGuire on Friday with the stupid guest who's an idiot. So here's my comment. Why do you talk paper gold prices, $2,000 gold, 25 silver? It's fantasy prices, not real market. Montana rookie card, 125,000. That's real market price. Gold should be higher. You both are clueless with paper gold prices. Also, you don't mention the USD is zero and going away and gold being the money. BRICS gold-backed currency will blow up US dollars and fiat currency. Why do you ignore this? Shake my head. Bobby, I always try to get you in there to shake my head. The professor. So this is why I'm asking him. They're talking. He'll sit there and go, well, it's $2,000 gold. Like that's the real price. That's the paper inflated price. So what they're doing is this is the way they're inflating gold, is the derivative market and adding more derivatives. That's what they're doing. You can't do that with real gold. You can't print it, which is what I keep saying. My next comment. We have no power to change anything in the price of gold, laugh out loud. If we all bought a ton, the price would still be 2,000 until COMEX and the derivatives get blown up. Derivatives are the problem. They keep the price down. It's illegal and they should be in jail. Mafia doesn't want a higher gold price. How do we defeat them? Shake my head. You guys are clueless. See, I'm being very stoic there with fuck off. You guys don't know what you're talking about. And again, shake my head. You guys are clueless. This is when I leave to Mark McGuire, and he's too stupid to. Where's the response? Why aren't they responding to this? I think there was one or two more. Anyway, you get the idea. This is what gets me frustrated watching them is they don't. Why do you keep talking about paper gold? Shake my head. That's fantasy price fixed. Where's the physical price? So I'm asking that question, and I re-ask it because I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Why do you totally, like, they'll keep talking the physical price, right? Oh, it's 2,000 and it's gone down and up and, maybe it'll go to 2,200, 2,300. So when the guy says that, I lose it because it's being suppressed. It's never going to go there in paper world. We need to get to the physical world. Then I even asked the question, why the fuck isn't there a physical price of gold like the Montana card? That's why I use the Montana card. I says, why isn't there a physical price of gold? And they can go and do their derivatives and make money on it. We don't care. And then one thing Egon said is he doesn't see how there'll be a BRICS gold for all the countries. He says you can't make one currency for all of them. That's not what they're doing. There'll be a U.S. dollar. Let's say we're in BRICS. There'd be a China dollar, a Russia dollar, and a U.S. dollar, and then there'd be the BRICS gold-backed dollar. and you'd be free to, like now, you can have USD or you can have Bitcoin or you can have gold. That's all that's going to happen. So it'll be USD or the BRICS gold-backed currency. And everybody would run to the BRICS gold-backed currency. That's why they keep the price down, because they know they can't compete with it. So that's what I keep that's what I keep yelling at them about is, what the fuck do you guys, you have this guest who doesn't even understand what paper gold is. And so I got to like spoon feed them the fucking answers so they understand. And these are not economists. Mark McGuire is a bank guy or a stock guy, and the guy he's got on is a stock guy. He's not an account. You can't read, first of all, sitting at dinner with this girl from Odessa and her 50-year-old boyfriend. I mean, it was so funny. The guy is like 50 and she's maybe 22, 23. And you're just looking at him like, what's wrong with this picture? I mean, it was like so weird to see this. And so she says, how do you learn about gold? And I said, well, I got a master's in it. I said, but if you want, what you need to do is you read up on it. However, you've got to be careful what you read. If you read the Keynesians, you're not going to see anything. So that's why I point out to you, you guys want to learn gold or economics, you got to be careful who you're listening to. If you listen to Rick Rude or Reichert or Andy Scheckman or these guys or Maloney, you're not learning anything. In fact, it's hurting you because you're learning the wrong thing. So if Bobby is going to teach how to hit a baseball and you listen to some other guy who doesn't know what he's talking about, you're going to learn bad habits instead of learning from Bobby, right? There's Bobby and there's Fred, and you're listening to Fred and he's way off base. Bobby's got it, but you're not listening to him. And then you hear Bobby and you go, wait, Fred told me to do this and that. So you got to relearn everything and then get to Bobby. And that's the biggest problem. So that's really what I'm telling them is, you're not going to find Austrian economics anymore. It's very hard to find, and very hard to find an accurate answer. I sat through a master's class, 3 master's classes for it. And you can see how well I learned it. I don't need, if I go to the book, it's not because I don't know something. It's like I want to get the exact definition of money, and there's 5, and I want to be accurate with it. It's very important. Or the trade cycle. I mean, I understand the trade cycle. I don't need to look at the notes, but if I want to look at the 14 steps in the trade cycle or 16 steps, I want to read them to you. But basically, you raise interest rates, you fuck up everything. But the MMT and Keynesians don't even believe in the trade cycle or interest rates or gold. And this is the problem. And that's why I'm saying, if you listen to them on gold, they won't tell you to buy it. But they don't understand. See, I break it out so clearly. It's you're inflating the money supply, making the value worth less. Period. That's what inflation is. Gold, you can't do it. You can't print or copy gold. You can only dig it out of the ground and make coins out of it. It's the only way you get more. So you can't really inflate it because it's not enough coming out of the ground versus demand. That's why you buy gold, and you switch your money into gold. That's why you do it. And that's as simple as I can. But you won't hear it from any of these clowns. If you ever heard that example, they don't even know what inflation is. They'll say, well, it's the loss of purchasing power, but they won't call it inflation. And then they'll always go back to prices as inflation. So they don't know what. As soon as you hear that, you know they don't know what they're talking about. Prices they're an effect of an effect of the inflation, but they're not inflation. If Coca-Cola went from $2.99 to $1.99 because they can't sell it on the shelf and they get it on sale for the holidays, does not mean the inflation's down. The inflation's back to 2%. Let's have a holiday, especially when you include food and energy prices, and all of a sudden that's why the inflation's down. You're out of your fucking mind. That's crazy. By the way, I saw some of the. Okay, he did state one good fact about that the Viking Raiders had the worst game ever, ending 3-0. Yeah, but like I said, we had the under in the game. It was the free pick under in the Minnesota game. So therefore, it wasn't a bad game because we won with it. A bad game is if it went over, or if I took it over and it was 3-0, then it's a bad game. But if we bet it under and it's under, it's a great game because we made money on it. That's how we measure it. Imagine buying a ticket to that game. Who the fuck? You know how expensive a ticket to the football games are? Vikings have had the most boring games the past few weeks. That Monday night game against the Bears was bad enough. Now they win 3-0. What's next? They win 2-0 with the safety in overtime? Maybe. If we keep betting them under, Bobby, we don't care. Yeah, that's funny. I've seen that a lot. Girl looks like a 20-year-old model, and the guy looks like a 55-year-old Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, he was bald from Denmark, who coaches the university. This guy was from Denmark, and I didn't really get into. I was too stoic. I didn't give a fuck. It's like, don't vampire me. I don't know who you are. I don't really want to know who you. I'm not going to learn from you. You're not going to teach me about gold, so I don't care. And the ironic part is the girl from Odessa. What does she do? She. I don't know what the word is. She basically asked me how much money I have. In other words, if I said I had $500,000, she'd be my girlfriend today. She would have left him for me because she's asking how much money. Who asked? You're sitting there with Jenna and Natasha and her 50-year-old boyfriend, and she's asking me how much. What do I do? You look like a teacher, and how much money do you have? And she's smiling. She liked me. She kept smiling the whole time. You're good looking, and oh, you like gold, and you look like a teacher. She was like going to the highest bidder, and that's the problem with the Russian girls. It's okay for her to come after me, but if I'm texting Daria with the heart and I love you, she can't. Jenna can't take that, but the other way around, they can come after you. So it's just funny how they are. Imagine seeing Brett Bielema with a hot 25. Yeah, that would be, unless it's his daughter, that would be extremely. The guy wasn't that Humpty Dumpty, but he was bald and a little bit overweight. But it just was such a strange. Here's this hot girl without even makeup. She was hot, and she had a house and she had a car. She asked me about inflation, about having a house. She said the problem in the Ukraine, they don't insure the houses. So if there's a fire or the Russians bomb your house, you're fucked. I said, that's why you own gold. They can't destroy it. But she lost the house to the bombing. And whatever she had in it was worthless. And a car. So I said, that's why we hold gold. You can't fuck around with gold. You can't do it. It's indestructible. Make your house out of gold, then you'd be all right. Will gold burn in the fire? No. You can't destroy gold. Gold is indestructible. You can't freeze it. You can't melt it. It would melt down. Like if you really had a hot fire, it would turn to liquid, but you could then let it cool and it would turn back into gold. I mean, you cannot destroy gold. You can melt it to a liquid, but you can't destroy it. Silver, I know you can melt silver. It's not indestructible, but I don't think a fire would hurt silver. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how they make it. So the guy has a big bar where the coin stir is, and what he does is he slices it and then he makes coins out of it. So I think you can use it to melt silver into coins. I don't think it'll go that way, but it will wear out if you got it in a battery or something. It will lose its properties, but gold cannot. Gold will never lose its properties, which is why it's the gold standard. You can't fuck with it. I will need to guard my kangaroos close. No, in a fire, they'll be okay. Like I said, they'll just melt. They'll just turn into liquid, but I don't think there'll be a problem. I know that's how they make the silver coins. They melt them down, and I'll ask the question when I go to the coin store this week. But yeah. that's what's going on there. So interesting trip for sure. I want gallery. See, my phone's on Central European time instead of switching to but my 8 o'clock is my 8 o'clock. But how do I switch it? He still thinks I'm in Berlin. There's something I need to hit. Anyway, it does get confusing because I wanted to leave. I wanted to stay on Michigan time because that way Daria would see 7:30 and realize it's 7:30, not it's 4 in the afternoon. Wait a minute, why does your phone say that? I didn't want to cause any problems. How long was the flight? Was it any stops? The flight it's 9 hours from Detroit to Frankfurt. And then it was an hour between flights and an hour flight from Frankfurt to Berlin. This morning was an hour, a little over an hour to Frankfurt. And then I think it was 9 hours from Frankfurt to Detroit. And that was my question, being stoic, going, why don't we just have a flight from Berlin to Detroit? Why do we need to stop in Frankfurt to then fly to Detroit as opposed to just going nonstop? I don't get why the airlines really do that. So that'd be like us getting in the car and we want to go to Kroger's, but we got to stop at Shell at the gas station first and then go from Shell to Kroger's. Why can't we just go direct? And that's really what I don't get. But go to Europe's about 10 hours or about 9 hours from the place you're leaving. So if you're in Florida, maybe you'll come up to Detroit. So that's a 2.5 hour, 3 hour flight. Now you're in Detroit. Now it's 8 or 9 hours to Germany or Europe. And then usually you're going to go from Frankfurt to Romania or to Amsterdam or to France or Spain. That's going to go through. So you're going to land in Frankfurt, have a 2 or 3 hour stopover, and then go to your final destination. So it's maybe you have direct flights, but they're so expensive you're not going to take them. But that's about what it is. But I've got to figure out my phone. Yeah, because I don't want it to say Tuesday. Then Daria might go, why does it say Tuesday? So it is not clock. I wonder what it is. Anyway, I will research. I think it's in settings. Anyway, so let's see. We got 8:06, so there should be the game starting now. So again, I went over in Miami. What I first tried to do is figure out, can I take a side like Buffalo and Denver? They were dogs. I liked them very much. Or New Orleans over Carolina. I'm betting against Carolina. When I can't really pick a side, then I look for the over under. Sometimes I look at all four and what is the best one. So Chicago, Detroit, the best play was over, and it went over. Philly, Dallas, the best play was over because I was a little scared of Philly's defense. Dallas has been playing better, but I didn't know if they were going to show up or Philly was going to show up, but I knew there'd be points. So I bet the over. So that's what you're looking for, is you're trying to understand the scope of the game. And from there, you're then trying to say, okay, here's what the scope of the game looks like. What do I do with it? And that's really what you're looking for, is to figure out the game to see what's going on. I mean, that's what you need to do, is try to get to the point where you figure out, and that's why I typed the score in. What do I think is going to happen in this game? And I think, tonight will be high scoring. I'm going to go over. Can I trust Miami against a pretty good defense? No. Can I trust Tennessee? Well, I think Miami. So I think at 13, I can trust Tennessee in 19, and I think I can trust the over. So then it's just what feels better, or will they both win? And the Green Bay game, I just got to go with Green Bay. They have to win. They're playing good. They just beat KC. The spread's even. If the spread was 12, I'd be looking total. But when you're making it 6, then it's easy. Just take Green Bay even. And what do you do with over-under? Well, you don't know what you're getting with Danny DeVito, and you really don't know what you're getting with Love, although he's starting to score. Probably an over game there. What's the over-under tonight is what, 30, 38, 37? I think it's 37. Do you go over 31? Well, I don't know. What am I going to get from the Giants? Green Bay's defense is pretty good. Probably under 43 would be the over-under. And then is it better to go under 43 because Green Bay has a pretty good defense, or Green Bay even? And I think Green Bay even. Then it'd be under 43 because I think Green Bay wins the game with their defense, and then the Giants – we don't know what we're getting with DeVito. Are they going to score or not? So that's, I think, what we have the thought processes on. So that's what you're really trying to do with that. Why do I have Facebook? I hate that. I can't get rid of it. It's disabled. Uninstall updates. Thanks. I don't want Facebook on my thing. Anyway, so that's really what you're looking at, right? And that's the problem with the bowl games. Well, he's got 7 touchdowns and 3 picks, but they didn't play last week. So let's see. He's 2 new, Bobby. And then so the first week, Danny, they beat New England 10-7. Right? So this is the problem. They beat New England 10-7. Only scoring 10 points against the 24 defense. Then they're off. Let's see if I have it the week before. The Giants beat Washington 31-19, on which they got a lot of turnovers. So 31-19 to Washington, 10-7 to New England. That's the problem. You don't have enough information on Danny to know which guy is he. All right, New England gave him a hard time. Now here comes Green Bay, whose defensive looked pretty good. So now you're like, well, maybe Green Bay holds them. And that's really what the point is you know what you're going to get out of Aaron Rodgers and Brady and Manning and Drew Brees. Not even that. I mean, Russell Wilson, we know what we're going to get, and Mahomes. But here comes DeVito, Thurston Howell the third. You don't know what you're going to get. So you try to look at how good the defense is. And Green Bay's got a pretty good defense. So you just got to assume they're not going to do much against the Green Bay defense. I think Green Bay wins because Love looks a lot better, and they have the defense far better than the Giants. So Green Bay's the better team. They must win the game. So that's why I go with them versus the over or under. It's good that CFB is going to have a real playoff system because this bowl game stuff has run its course. I don't like how it's so iffy if certain players are going to play. It ruins the whole betting strategy. Well, it ruins the whole thing. Here you're rooting for a team, and then the guy's not playing. How do you explain that to your kid? Yeah, he wants to get ready for the NFL, and he's scared to get hurt. But, Dad, it's football. Everybody gets hurt. That's the problem with it. So how do you root for the team when their own players aren't playing? How do you root for the team when half the team's transferring? Look at Colorado. The whole team transferred out, and a whole new team transferred in. I mean, come on. What are you going to do with that? And Colorado's not even in the bowl. They didn't win enough games. Deion, the coach of the year. Why is he the coach of the year? I would think the Washington coach would be the coach of the year. Even Nick Saban had a great year, beat Georgia with Milrose. I mean, he did a great job coaching. He lost to Texas, and then he, covered every other week. So that's what I look at. But I agree with you, Bobby. It ruins it. So do all the commercial. So do every play being replayed. So do a 5-minute replay session where we go to 12 commercials. It all ruins. They get it. If you ever notice this is a thing that I notice a lot in the pros. Every time there's a touchdown, there's a penalty. Every time there's a touchdown, there's a penalty, and then it's the touchdown. It was offsides. Or it was some stupid penalty, but it was enough to stop the emotion. They scored. Wait a minute, we got to review it 12 times. Did his knee touch down? If the ref called it a touchdown, it's a touchdown. I don't get that. Oh, one thing. So I'm talking to the bartender yesterday about American football. I go, you're going to turn on the American football at 7:00. Well, we don't know. We've got soccer on, or we got football on. And I go, he says, we're in Berlin. We don't care about American football. Now, who just played in Germany 2 games, right? The NFL goes to Germany, plays 2 games, right? And then what do I hear? We don't care about it. What the fuck you playing 2 games in Germany when they don't give a fuck about it? They only want to watch soccer. What's the deal with the London shit? I mean, it's the same thing. Why is that? Nobody in London cares about the American football. I mean, they're just trying to eat. They don't have it. And then Natasha asked me this interesting question. She says, why are so many Americans coming to Berlin? It's so dangerous. There's so many criminals. There's so much crime going on. Why are they coming? And I go, because they're idiots. I don't know why American people are going to Berlin. I'd go to Switzerland if I was me. But no, I don't know. And Berlin's very dangerous from what I said. Tonight, this morning, so I'm going to the airport. My Uber guy's getting me at 4:30. He can't come to the hotel because there's a crime scene. There's 20 cops, and they've taped it off. And I'm trying to get to the cab driver, so I'm kind of walking around it. And the guy goes, you can't come. It's a crime scene. I go, I don't care. I got to get to the airport. My Uber driver is here. And I kept walking around and got to my Uber guy. But that's I couldn't, at 4 a.m, there's a crime scene. I was in Odessa at 3 a.m. Me and Jenna were out walking, and there was nobody. You never felt like, a crime scene. And yet here in Berlin at 4 a.m. at our hotel in the middle of nowhere, there's a crime scene. It's insane. With the 12-team playoffs, the top teams will have everything to play for instead of these glorified expectations. Well, exactly. But they don't even play for it. They're calling, exhibitions. Oh, yeah, those other countries be calling soccer the real football. Soccer is so overrated. It's terribly boring and terribly predictable. Soccer makes baseball look like a blast of fun. Yep. Someone got killed on the crime scene. I don't know. It was a crime scene. I don't know what it was, if it was a killing or a robbery, or it was a crime scene that was all roped off with the tape, and there was 15 police cars and 20 policemen, obviously scared. They had to be in a pack to feel comfortable. So there's probably bullets flying. And the guy's looking at me like, well, you can't go through. And I'm like, I got to get to my Uber. I don't give a fuck. I want to get out of here too. By the time Jenna had to leave, I got her an Uber. I wanted to get her an Uber. I didn't know how to do it. I can't. I reserved it last night. You cannot get an Uber. So let's say, Bobby, you want to go somewhere, but you got to Uber your daughter somewhere. And you have to have a way of switching it to my daughter. But they wouldn't let me do that to reserve the one. So I got to the airport at 4:45. Jenna was going to leave at like 4:45 to go to Natasha's to stay there for the night. And I didn't know how to do it because it said, oops, something, you can't be in two places at the same time. And I couldn't change it to Jenna on a reserve, or I didn't know how to. I could do it. I could switch to Jenna if it was now, but I couldn't switch it to her as if it's tomorrow. So I don't know, but I don't use Uber. I tell Jenna I got a car. I get in there. I want to go. I drive to the gym. I drive to the place. I don't need a car. Or I don't need an Uber. So again, in America, we drive our car around. We don't really need to Uber it. The hotel was in a bad. No, the hotel was fine. From what I could tell, it was a fine area. But it looked like the rest of Berlin. So I have no idea if it was a good neighborhood or bad. There was a block away, there was a nice shopping place. So I think it was a fairly decent area. And my best one was so we want coffee in the room and we drink it. And there's a strange machine we've never seen before. You put the little plastic cup of coffee in, you pull the arm down all the way, and then you hit some buttons, it heats the water, and then the coffee flows out. And it's not even a full cup. It's like one of these half cup things. So we run out. So we go, oh, we want some more coffee. They want to charge $1 a cup for the coffee. We said, that's ridiculous. Well, that's the way it is in Berlin. I go, that's not the way it is anywhere else in the world. I go, and that's who you're competing with. I said, what you should do is not make it separate. You should bake it in the price. So if you want to charge $120 for the room, charge $125 and include the coffee in it. And you'll be surprised that people won't drink that much coffee in the room because they're going out. Like he thinks, oh, so what? The owner's going to make $2 on coffee? And I says, and he's going to piss me off because I'm not going to want to give him a good review because I'm going to sit there and go, what's going to stick in my mind? These idiots wanted to charge me $1 for coffee in the room, which is absolutely ridiculous. Why are you doing? Just make the room $5 higher and include the coffee. Because when you start a la carte, you're fucking around. People don't want to pay for every little thing. They want it all included and just pay once. He was struggling with that. That's when we got into golden economics. But I said to the guy, what do you do? You look terrible. For $1, is it worth $1 to get the coffee to get bad things? That's when I said to him, then I really started using economics on him. I go, you're going to kill your demand. Then we got into supply and demand. I go, but you don't understand. The demand for your hotel is going to go down because you're going to get this negative, oh, it costs $1 for the coffee. And once you get that, you're going to get negative. So why do you want that? You shouldn't want that. You should want positive reviews, but you're going to get negative reviews from the dollar. And then he gave me the old, well, nobody else has said that. And I go, yeah, I know. I'm like that all the time. I'm always the leader. I'm always the guy because I'm stoic and I'm an INFJ. And when I see something out of balance, I talk about it because that's what I'm looking. Why is the coffee $1? Well, if we really rattle it down, they must be losing their ass that they've got to charge $1 for the coffee. If you're making a lot of money, you're not charging. So obviously he's losing money and he's looking for any way to make some money. And he charges $19 for the buffet. And in there, Jenna wanted to take like an apple back to the room. And the guy was not going to let her take the apple. Oh, no, you can't take the food back to the room. And we laughed and we took it anyway. We're like, fuck this. We're paying $19 for this buffet. Anything on our plate you got to throw out, we're taking it up to the room. And we did. But I mean, that's the problem. The more negative, the less your demand, right? If if you're going to buy a car and all you hear is negative, 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 you're going to buy it? No, you're going to kill demand. That's what they're trying to do with gold. Oh, it doesn't go up in value and silver's $20 an ounce. Look, it's going down. It's not going down. It's the derivatives keeping it down, not the real physical price. And this is what people don't understand, and they don't ask the question. And that's what I told the girl at dinner last night. Ask the question, why is gold there? Why is silver there? And if you can answer that question, then you understand it. Right now you don't, and you think the price is going down, and the price isn't. The physical price of gold at free market is never going down. But the paper derivative price that they're trying to inflate does. So you're looking at the paper price going down, saying, oh, gold goes down, not the physical. You don't even know what the price of the physical is. That's why I'm giving you the price is about 20,000. If you had a physical market and you had that, and then I show you the Montana at 125 going, well, if he's getting 125 for Montana rookie card, you don't think gold's worth that much? Fuck yes, of course it is. Why would the Montana be worth it? There's a lot more demand for gold. So that's what the real price is. But if you keep trying to look at the $2,000 price as your price, you're out of your fucking mind. You have nothing that won't work. Most hotels offer free breakfast, let alone free coffee. No, well, in your you get the buffet. You get the scrambled eggs, the bacon, a lot of meats, coffee, tea, little cereal, little rolls, and chocolate little things, and then you have fruit, honeydew, cantaloupe, and little veggies. So no, that's normal in Europe to have the breakfast buffet. Usually it's 10 euros, 15 euros. This was expensive at 19. But that's pretty normal, which is fine. But normally, yes, you get coffee in the room. You have a coffee pot. You make it. Sometimes there's water out if you want to drink it. I've never seen this where if you wanted the little coffee filters, it was $1. Are you insane? So I thought that was weird. Now I find a grocery store like half mile away. So I walk to the grocery store and you get a Diet Pepsi for the room. You get some big waters for the room. I got some avocados for the room and bananas. You just can't get like frozen or meat. You can't cook it, right? So that's the only problem. So you get a lot of that kind of stuff in the grocery store, which saves you a shitload of money. But I do that every trip I go to. Even if I go to Vegas, I'll stop and go to CVS and get shit for the room. Because you just want to nibble on an avocado or an apple or a banana, something to hold you off until dinner. So that's pretty common. But that's what in Europe, at least I stay at I usually try to stay at a 4-star. The 5 stars are usually too expensive, and the 4 stars seem to be nice. But who knows what a 4-star is than that. But it could be a 3-star. Like they didn't have a pool, which I wanted a pool, but it was like $1,200-$1,300 for the week, and I paid $700 or so. So I was like, okay, I won't get a pool. But Yeah, that's the way it is in Europe. But most of the places we've stayed at, Barcelona or Lisbon, Austria, it's always the buffet breakfast. You know, by 10 o'clock, which I always hate because then I got to get up to eat. I don't really want to get up now. I'm still on Detroit time. Oh, then they didn't have the restaurant open until from 6 to 10. And I bitched at him for that. I says, but you don't understand. We're not from Berlin. I'm on Detroit time. I'm hungry when I get there. I want to eat now. It might be 2 o'clock. Well, to me, it's dinner time. I said, so you can't have it 6 to 10 like for Berlin people because this is the time they eat. You've got to understand this is a hotel with travelers coming from different parts of the world, and we're hungry 24 hours a day. So you can't have it 6 to 10. Makes no sense. And it's funny how these hotels, and then they wonder why they're losing money. Well, you don't know how to fucking run your business. But that's how I viewed it. For you to charge $1 for a little thing of coffee that should be complimentary, that should be baked in your price. When you develop the cost of the room, how are you coming up with it? Right? Are you charging me for towels? Are you charging me to change my bedding? Well, what else are you charging me for? So that's really what should be included, not nickel and dimed out. Greg and John's vampire and Bobby now. All right, be careful. It's funny. I tell my friends, I says, my class, they like economics. They're happy when we talk economics. I says, where else can you get somebody that likes economics? Because I don't talk down to people and talk at such a high level and nobody understands what the fuck I'm saying. I says, that's how you teach. You teach so the people get it and they can understand it and relate to it. That's what a good teacher does. So I say only in my class have I ever heard anybody say they love economics. But I liked it at my master's program. I hated it at my undergrad. He was teaching Keynesian, and it was all these strange words and all the charts. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I don't understand what you're saying. The multiply, the elasticity of this and that. Now, what does that word mean? I don't know the meaning. I don't know your vocabulary. You're not talking in English, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, that leads me to this Stoic thing. At first, I wondered why the Germans talk German and the French talk French, France talk French, and the Swiss talk Switzerland, and the Italians talk Italy. At first, I thought it was weird. Why don't we all speak one language? But then I put my little Stoic hat on, and now I realize because they don't want you to know what the fuck they're saying. So when I'm with Jenna and she's with Natasha, and they don't want me to understand, they talk Russian to keep it so they can have their little discussion in private while still talking. I tell her it's rude because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but obviously they don't want me to understand what they're talking about. So the Russians talk Russian and the French talk French and the Germans talk German because they don't want you to understand what they're saying. That's why we have all these different languages. And that's why, like with the money, they'll all want that. But see, the money's different. It's either backed by gold or not backed by gold. If it's backed by gold, you're fine. If it's not backed by gold, it's zero. That's the simple lesson that I have to understand. Economics as well, because you're learning something that's very important. All these college kids need to withdraw from their econ classes and just watch this class and save their money. I agree, Bobby. If I had kids going to school now, I don't know how I could afford $150,000 to send them to school. You got to be out of your fucking mind. I would say don't send your kids to college now. I mean, as expensive as it is, and good luck finding jobs in the depression that's about to hit, and you owe all this money in student loans, where the fuck is that coming from? Why is college should not be very expensive at all? I went, it was $1,600 a semester for my master's. It took me like 12 classes to get it. It was like $1,500 here and it was $4,000. Why is it so expensive? See, they've got you believing that you need to get it, and you don't. It's not worth it. The return on investment isn't there because it's too expensive. It's sort of like the high. Would you bet Miami and lay 7.5 tonight? Well, it's a big number. 13.5 is too large. Well, like the Green Bay game. If that was 13, it'd be too much. At 6, I like it. Well, college, if it was 6, I would go to college. But if it's 15, I don't want anything to do. It's too expensive. And that's what's happening. Yeah, I family members that used to do that a lot. They talk Spanish when they want to talk shit. Well, that's exact. They don't want you to understand what they're talking about, so they talk their own language. They're more comfortable with it, but they want to talk behind your back in front of you, I guess. So it's I hear that in the steam room or in the hot tub. They'll talk Indian or Muslim or something. A lot of Muslim. Every Uber driver I got was a Muslim. It was Hazim, Mazu, Hadu, and they were all in Toyota Camrys or Toyota Corollas. So it'd be white Toyota Corolla, Haziz is driving, black Toyota Corolla, Muhammad's driving, yellow Toyota. They were all Toyota Corollas, and it was all Muslims driving it. So let me see. They went from Muslims to Germany to drive Ubers. This is the Berlin, the German dream to drive Ubers around. Unbelievable. So I mean, everybody's getting fucked royally there. When the euro goes out now, when will the euro backed by gold come out? Will the U.S. let it happen? Because once that comes out, there's no more U.S. dollar, and you've got to understand. You've got to keep your eyes open. As I say, it's the reaction. We hit the iceberg is the action. The reaction is go walk to the lifeboat now, not wait till the boat fills up with water, and then everybody runs to the lifeboat. So A happens, causes B. You print the money, causes the inflation, forces you to buy gold immediately, and don't worry when it goes up, it will. That's how you have to play the game. If I do A, how is the effect? And that's the key. We hit an iceberg, we're going to sink, get the fuck off. They inflate the money, buy gold immediately because they're going to keep printing it to zero, and then it'll have no value. And none of these guys really want to talk about it but Egon. So Mark McGuire will say, well, this and this, and buy gold. But he never says the dollar's going out. He doesn't understand that the inflation makes the value go down, makes the market go to zero. So as I always point out with my Canadian club, I can only sell this if there's a buyer. If there's no buyer, I have no market and I can't sell it. Well, it's the same thing with the dollar. If there's no buyer because everybody's in the gold or a gold-backed euro or a gold-backed ruble, if everybody's into that, there's no market for it. So keep that in mind. So that's really what's happening. So I'm going to go swim because I haven't swum in a week. It's 8:30. The pool closes at 9:30. So I'm going to go take a quick swim. I'll be on tomorrow, probably normal time. But I do at least want to hit the hot tub. It's been such a long time. And I'm trying to figure out how to get my phone to where it shows the correct time. Let's see. Because I don't want to show Tuesday when it's Monday night. Because it is Tuesday in Germany, but I'm not there. Where's WhatsApp? Yeah. Don't know. Thank you, Bobby Bo. Appreciate that always. So good luck on the games tonight. Again, I took Miami over with Green Bay even. Again, it's the expected outcome. They need the game. It's exactly what I think will happen based on, again, my score is Miami 31-13 and Green Bay 24-10. That's how I arrive at that based on the defenses. I think Green Bay will score on the Giants. The Giants won't. I think Green Bay's got the better defense. So I want to take Green Bay. They got the better team, the better defense. They just beat Kansas City, so look out. And then in the other one, Miami, I think Tennessee can score on Miami. Miami should be able to score on Tennessee. But Miami's defense presents me from lane 7.5, where I think because of Miami's weak defense, Tennessee gets 19 points. Is a team like Tennessee getting 19 is fucking ridiculous. So we will see. Anyway, I'll try to be on. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so fucked up. It's 8:36. My body is at 2:36. Right now, my mind's 2:36 Tuesday morning, not 8:36 Monday night. So when you travel, you got to get adjusted to it's now 8:36. That's the time. So a good hot tub, and I'll get to sleep and get back on American time. All right, I'm going to let you go so I can hit the pool, and have a good night, everybody. www.teaserking.com. You want all the bowls, 100. You want all the picks to the end with the bowls, 200. Well worth your while, and you can buy a lot of gold with that. Been red hot. Again, 4 locks on Sunday, head Army under. And we'll get into a little bit more of the bowls this week then. All right, everybody. Have a nice night. www.teaserking.com.